Sports Scotland and at our social media channels. Will it be Hibernian? Will it be Heart of Midlothian who are part of that draw? You're about to find out over the next couple of hours. Live commentary on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland with John Collins, Neil McCann and Liam McLeod.
Well, incredibly, this is the 8th time that these two have been paired together in the Scottish Cup since 2012. 8 times in 11 seasons. They've met 9 times, including 2 replays in that time. Hearts have come out on top in each of the last 3 Scottish Cup meetings, including last season's semi-final, when Sims and Kingsley scored brilliant goals as they staved off a Hibs comeback. But Hibs have won each of the last 3 Scottish Cup meetings here at Easter Road, and you've got to go back to 2009 to find a Hearts victory here in this competition. All that's out the window today, though, as Hearts prepare to kick off the 3rd Edinburgh derby of the season. It was 1-1 here in the opening Premiership meeting this campaign, and then on the 2nd of January, Hearts won 3-0 across the city at Tynecastle Park. Hearts in the all-maroon with white flashes will shoot right to left. We are watching from up high in the main stand as they shoot towards the famous 5 stand in this first half. Hibs in the green and white will shoot south, and Josh Ginnelly kicks off the Scottish Cup 4th round Edinburgh derby as it's rolled out to Kai Rolls in this near side and into Toby Sibbick, who plays at the centre point of that Hearts back 3. It's rolled out to the new signing Hill over on the right, on loan from Bournemouth. Big switch of play out to Alex Cochrane. They're in fabulous form right now, Hearts, coming into this one. Hibs have been struggling a little bit. They salvaged a draw late on against Dundee United here last weekend. Hearts, of course, dismantled Aberdeen in brutal fashion on Wednesday evening as Hill rolls it out to that right-hand side for Michael Smith, who was a goal scorer in that game, as Snodgrass picks up, rolls it back to Rolls. First time with the left foot. Porteous wins a decisive header. Nisbet gives chase, flicked up into the air by Sibbick, kept alive by Campbell. His header moved out to this right-hand side, cut out just as it looked as though it might have come through to McGeady. Instead it goes out to play for a throw-in on this near side. It will be a throw-in to Hearts into the 2nd minute of this, and you would expect it to be a pretty frenetic afternoon here.
Well, it's a typical derby match. First thing I'm noticing, Josh Campbell, he's locked onto Snodgrass, trying to stop him get possession. It's going to be a really important role for him, because he is, for me, the playmaker for Hearts. Snodgrass has been magnificent, particularly since the return from the World Cup shutdown. That's a brilliant ball, left to right from Barry Mackay for Smith. Looks long, looking for Ginnelly, headed away there by Rocky Bushiri. Into the midfield it drops for Devlin, plays it back to Snodgrass, who's brought crashing to the ground by Campbell, and Hearts have a free kick which Devlin's taken very quickly. Devlin here was another goal scorer against Aberdeen as Sibbick picks up in the centre circle. And now it's rolled to Rolls. You just wonder, out of the two, it's probably more important for Hibs to make the brighter start, given the form that they are in, compared to Hearts. Well, from a Hibs point of view, I'm disappointed because Hearts have taken control of the game. They're the ones that had the possession early in the game. I'd like to see Hibs push up against them, but they're sitting back, they're keeping their shape. Obviously Hearts aren't penetrating or creating anything.
Devlin, battling with Eli Yuan on the far side. Was out to play off the Hibs man. Lasses, the assistant on the far side, throw in to Hearts, which Michael Smith's already over about level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box, over in front of that big east stand. And Smith waits to take this one. Just 2.5 in, very early exchanges this, and it's the veteran Smith.
Hibs are really narrow, Liam. They're really narrow, and these wing backs of Hearts will enjoy lots of possession. We've already seen 2 or 3 switches of play which has opened Hibs up, I think.
It's a foul by Shanklin there as he went in on the Hibs defender, so that's going to be a free kick there. And it's a welcome to Scottish football for James Jago, who makes his debut today. He'd been playing with UPenn in Belgium up until his move to Edinburgh. As Ryan Porteous hits it long and early, and Ewan's in behind here potentially. Brilliantly defended by Michael Smith, but then he puts it back towards his own goal, and it just goes wide of the right-hand post. Just in fabulous defending initially from the Northern Irishman, but that could so easily have crept into his own net.
What a ball from Ryan Porteous, 30 yards, bent with his right foot right in the path. initially it looks like he's getting away from Smith, but he got back. Good defending from the Hearts boy.
Fair play to Smith, because Ewan has paced the burn. Corner Hibs, their first of the afternoon, to be taken by Aidan McGeady on this main stand side. Outswinger with the right boot, clipped in, and out comes Xander Clark. He spilt it. It's alive for Hibs, and Bushiri's effort is well wide with the left foot. It's a really good opportunity for Rocky Bushiri, and Hibs' best moment in the early stages of the derby. 4 minutes in at 0-0.
Yeah, Xander Clark's come out to claim that, which you love to see as a defender. If your keeper's coming and made his mind up, he tried to reach, I think, over Tony Sibbick's head. Lost the control of the ball, and it was a half chance for Bushiri. But Michael Smith, you're right, I don't think he was ever favourite for that long ball. It was a brilliant pass through, but he made up the ground, he used his body well, but I tell you, he almost got his clearance all wrong. Tried to put it the outside of the boot. This fixture's just starting to get going now, isn't it? I mean, the fans are feeling it.
Yeah, it's a foul by Campbell down below us inside the Hearts half. Kai Rolls is over it. He plays it short to his left for Cochrane. And it's a short ball by him to Mackay, and he was back to Kai Rolls, who's the left-hand side of that Hearts back three. Rolls it infield along the turf to Sibbick, and then out to the right-hand side for James Hill. 21 years of age, James Hill, in his third appearance for the club here in this Scottish Cup derby. Porteous flicks it into the Hearts half, comes off Snodgrass, breaks back to Rolls, and now it's with Mackay. It's attempted pass is cut out, but it breaks kindly for Lawrence Shanklin, who scored early in both of the derbies this season, but he's had his run stopped there, and Hibs come forward. Long ball to the left for Ellie Ewan. Now he's taking on Hill. Hill with a really good challenge. Might actually have come off Ewan last there. I think this is a goal kick. It is, and that's not gone down well with the home fans, but it looked a goal kick from where we are.
Absolutely. I think Ewan takes it too close to him. I think just knock it past him, see how quick Hill is. I mean, he's new to the game up here, maybe wouldn't know a lot about him, but Hill's celebrating that tackle like he just scored a goal. I mean, everybody is totally pumped, and one player in the Hibs outline there is pumped up as Ryan Porteous. I don't think I've seen him so animated, John.
He's up it. He's up for it. He's won every header he's went for.
Great ball down the right Cadden now. McGeady attacking the Hearts box. He gets the early ball in off the post. Fabulous effort there with a flick by Josh Campbell, and he comes within a width of Xander Clark's left-hand post of giving Hibernian the lead here. It stays 0-0 on 6.
That's what McGeady brings to the party. 1v1, he can shift it and deliver it in the box. Josh Campbell so unlucky. Great little back heel off the post. Good play from Hibs.
It's an excellent effort there by Campbell. It was just in behind him, so he needed to do that, didn't he? It was a fabulous little flick.
Yeah, invention was brilliant. Yeah, and I tell you, he catches it really sweetly as well, because when it came off the post, it bounced out 8-9 yards out. But yeah, John, you're right, McGeady, I think everybody thinks he's going to do step overs and go 5 people, but if you've got half a yard, he's very good at just delivering into that area.
It's a couple of chances that Hibs have had in the early stages of this tie. His Hearts pick up possession. Kai Rolls taking it up towards halfway, rolls it to the left for Cochrane. He's got a runner ahead of him in Mackay, but he plays it off Cadden and out for a throw into the visitors on this near side. The Hearts players backed up by an excellent away support behind Xander Clark's goal off to our right, all packed in to that south stand as Cochrane takes the throw, and he's found Shanklin in space, and he lets fly immediately, and it's a good few yards wide. Thumbs up from Shanklin to Cochrane though.
Yeah, it's a half chance that, Liam. It's a good throw in from Cochrane. Shanklin just rolls away, and when it bounced maybe 20 yards out, he's maybe just hurried his shot a little bit. He's well capable of hitting the target from there, but it was a poor effort in the end. I'm just watching Ginnelly. He's come inside, so instead of playing deeper or wide, he's almost playing like a second striker alongside Shanklin, and twice he's gone over the top. He's been really unhappy he's not been given it over the top, but Hibs need to be wary of that.
Shanklin needs just one more goal to become the first Hearts striker to score 20 in a season since John Robertson did it in 1991-92, and he scored 1 or 2 goals in this fixture himself. And Shanklin looks to net again against Hibs, but it's Hibs who are coming forward. Ball breaks kindly to Campbell. Really good challenge by Rolls. Again, the Hibs fans howl their derision for the decision by Don Robertson, but I think enough in the ball there was won as Hearts give it away in the far side. Ellie Ewan's on it now. He's going to get it back. It was Smith who was robbed. Ewan down the left-hand side of the Hearts box, level with the penalty spot, faced by Hill. Stabs it back the way. Chibraya's ball into the box. is easily cleared by Kai Rolls round about the penalty spot. Up into the air it goes, drops down. Stevenson battling for it with Snodgrass. The ball not settling, and eventually Toby Sibbick smashes it forward high into the Hibs half, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0 in the 9th minute of the tie. Kept in play by Ginnelly. Fabulous footwork by Josh Ginnelly, who will win a free kick off Porteous over on that far side. Josh Ginnelly is really showing everyone what he's made of. He's been in excellent form just now, and he is such a threat when you consider the goals that Shanklin has scored this season. To supplement that with Barry Mackay and Josh Ginnelly is a fabulous position for Robbie Nielsen to be in.
Yeah, it's a dangerous front line. I actually felt Porteous let himself down there. He won the battle, won the physicality. He tried to be clever, just clear your lines. He gave Ginnelly a chance, but yeah, with those three, I mean, it's a real problem all day. It's going to be for Hibs.
Problem for Hibs here because they're facing a Hearts free kick, which is a yard or two away from that east stand side touchline. Snodgrass, hands on hips, waiting to deliver right into the Hibs box. Left-footed from Snodgrass, bends it in. It's a bobbling ball in the 6-yard area. Ginnelly scores! What a finish that is! We've just been speaking about him, and Josh Ginnelly leathers the ball past David Marshall into the bottom left corner. Hibs have had their chances, but Hearts, it is who have the lead in this Scottish Cup tie. 10 minutes in, Hibernian 0, Heart of Midlothian 1.
Somebody's lying flat, and I'm not sure is it Nisbet. I mean, I think when the ball comes in from Snodgrass, really dangerous, lands about the penalty spot. Hibs win the first contact, but then it bounces. It's never cleared properly. Ginnelly's just loitering, and I tell you, it's a player on form because it's not an easy execution. He watches it dropping, he takes it on a half volley, keeping his body over the top and smashes it through the ruck of bodies into the net. It's a brilliant finish and a brilliant start from Hearts.
I'm going to take it all the way back to the free kick. It was a needless free kick given away from Ryan
Just what we spoke about, John, yeah.
Just sloppy, lazy defending. That's where he lets himself down. The opponent's going away from goal. He's not running through and goal. He's facing the Hibs fans. And when you've got something like Robert Snodgrass in opposition with a left foot like he's got that can deliver it in the box, it's a serious threat. Disappointing from Hibs' point of view, but from Hearts, it's a terrific goal.
Yeah, I mean, they did win the first header, but when it's bouncing around there, it's coming straight down from the initial header, Liam, so it's really difficult to get distance and purchase on the next one. And when it drops, Ginnelly's just loitering around. He's not getting involved in the mix-up because he thinks, right, you big guys can deal with the headers, you can get involved in the physicality, I'm going to hope something drops. And doesn't he just catch it sweetly? Beautiful strike.
Hibs had a couple of opportunities to deal with that there, and they failed on both occasions, and they have paid the ultimate price. Josh Ginnelly's 5th goal of the season comes at Easter Road at the famous 5 end in a knockout cup tie. And for a Hearts player, it doesn't get much better than that, unless it was in the final 10 minutes, because Hibs still have plenty of time to sort this out. But they face a massive task now.
Yeah, they do, but they have looked a threat. They've been a more likely side to score. Hearts have been quiet in terms of going forward. I know Shanklin has a half chance, but Hibs have threatened. The place in here was buzzing, but like we were talking about before the game, this is when form actually comes to the occasion, because Hearts have got that early goal, and just wonder how Hibs are going to react to it.
It's all about the reaction now. Hibs have got to
they're just checking it here.
They've got to stay calm.
I think they're just checking the goal. It looks as though it's okay though. Yet play on. Kevin Nisbet's going to come back on now. He's going to be okay to continue. There was a bit of a delay as the VAR, which is in action today, just double check that, and I think there was a flare on the pitch as well in the wake of the Hearts supporters' celebrations. That goal coming up the opposite end of the stadium, but they would have still had a brilliant view of it. It was taken brilliantly by Ginnelly, and there's absolutely nothing David Marshall can do about that, as the throw in from Hill comes into the Hibs half. Foul on Porteous this time by Shanklin, and Hibs have a free kick. But once again, it was 22 minutes when Shanklin scored here in the league game, the match that ended up 1-1. Boyle scored late on in his debut, second time around for Hibs, but he scored, I think it was 8 minutes into the derby at Tynecastle at the start of the month. So they're scoring early in these games, and it's giving Hibs so much more work to do. As Stevenson comes towards the Hearts box, looks up, crosses in, headed away by Sibbick. Stevenson leaving it, Diego gives it away, and Devlin wins it back, but Campbell's there to pinch it back for Hibs. So important for Hibs now that they get the next goal in this game. Here is McGeady, out wide left, and an opportunity for Marian Chabraya to cross in. It's a very good delivery as well, as it bounces off Rolls and behind for a Hibs corner.
What a bit of defending, Liam, honestly. Kai Rolls has to make that. Nisbet is right behind him, thinking he's just going to open the step out and just tap that home. Great ball with a weaker side from Chabraya, but top defending, John.
It was quality defending. It was a great delivery. Chopped it back on his right foot, you say, and put it in a really dangerous area.
Outswinging corner from the southeast corner of the stadium, and it comes in another decent delivery, but once more it's the Aussie Rolls who gets it away with the head. Picked up by McGeady over on that far side. He rolls it back the way, and the long one from Diego into the Hearts box, and it's well overhit. He was looking for Bushiri. It sails behind for the goal kick to Hearts. Hibs nil, Hearts 1. 14 minutes played. This the only Scottish Cup tie of the day. The fourth round won't be completed tomorrow when Darvel play Aberdeen, but the initial fixture list will be, with those 4 matches that were postponed from yesterday, including the matches in Inverness, and Cove, Elgin, Linlithgow will all be played over the next week or so, as that goes out to play for a throw into Hearts.
I don't know if Hibs have switched on by design or default, whether it's just settling in from a period of play that they've not recovered, but McGeady's gone to the left now, where he started on the right, and Johan's come to the right.
Yeah, I think the manager's done that a couple of times. I think he did it against Motherwell as well. After 10-15 minutes, he asked him to switch over.
137 times the Scottish Cup has been played before this season, and only 11 times has it come back to the capital. Hearts with 8 successes, Hibs with 3, as the free kick goes Hibs' way over on the touchline, the far side, and Sipic is protesting his innocence for the challenge on Nisbet, but it is a Hibs free kick. It's about level with the bit between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line over on that left-hand side.
Terrific play from Nisbet. I like to see that from a striker. It's a poor ball to him, but he made that poor ball into a good ball, and he's won that free kick in a dangerous area. Hibs need good delivery.
Kevin Nisbet's been single-handedly keeping Lee Johnson afloat recently, the Hibs manager. He might need him again today. He suspect he will. 1-0 down they are right now. McGeady and Campbell it is. No, Campbell's in the 18-yard line. It's McGeady and Chabraya over there on the far side. You'd suspect McGeady with a right here. 2-man Hearts wall. McGeady bends it into the box. Clark comes, doesn't get there. It comes bouncing back to the 18-yard line. Campbell has a swipe at it. Ginnelly wins it back for Hearts. The Hibs fans think it was a foul on Nisbet. Hibs play on. McGeady down the left. Low ball across. Is cleared by Shanklin. And what a touch by Mackay, albeit Campbell slides in.
Crucial challenge.
For a Hearts throw in on the far side.
Crucial challenge from Campbell, you know, because Barry Mackay had rolled the first challenge, and had he got past Campbell, it was a 3v1 situation for Hearts.
Brilliant turn by Barry Mackay, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just takes the pressure right off his defence.
There was a couple of great challenges. I think Devlin or Mackay got out to one there and blocked it. I mean, Hearts are they're not just stepping back and making things easy for Hibs. They're getting in the face of people. They're making sure there's contacts, there's challenges going in.
It's been a really good reaction from Hibs since
they still look a threat, John. I tell you, they still look dangerous.
They're probably the better team, to be honest. You know, they've had a couple of opportunities before Hearts got the goal, but it's Hearts who have the goal, Hearts who have the lead.
Okay.
As Kai rolls with the control with the head, his pass isn't as good, and it breaks to Cadden over on this near side. Infield to Diego, first time looking for Yuan, who's on this right now, as Rolls gets it to Cochrane, just next with Snodgrass. Lovely touch away from Cadden, up the line for Mackay, who's brought down by Diego. That'll be a yellow card for the new signing.
He struggled a wee bit, Liam, at the early part of this game. He's got under a few things, he's get caught with a few things. His lungs will probably feel absolutely tiny right now, because as Lee said there, it's the biggest derby he's played in. I think you get a shock to the system of how quick this game is.
It's a stupid booking. Now he is under severe pressure. He's a defensive midfield player. He's got an early booking. He can't go near anybody now for the rest of the game. Needless. They're not going to score a goal. They're still 40 yards from your goal. Why did you pull somebody back? Because he knows he's getting booked.
Barry Mackay does that well though, John. I mean, he gets across people. He forces the issue sometimes. That's probably an inexperience in this fixture.
John's right though. He'll potentially have to play within himself for the remainder of this derby. And this is not a fixture in this city that you can afford to play within yourself in. Snodgrass with another free kick, left-footed into the box, headed away this time just before it got there actually by Cadden. Now it breaks to Cochrane, who finds Snodgrass again, charged down by Eli Yuan, who steps in field away from Snodgrass. He's on his own at the moment in the Hearts half, and he's brought crashing down by Mackay, and that's a Hibs free kick and a yellow card for Barry Mackay, and that was a decision the Hibs fans were helping Don Robertson make, I think, there.
So it was terrific play from Johan. He's won the ball, but there's 30 yards behind Snodgrass in the wide area. Now he's got blistering pace, and what does he do? He goes in the park into Boris. That's football intelligence. That's just what he's lacking, decision making.
Hearts' last win I mentioned earlier in the Scottish Cup here was January 09. Nade and Glenn scored the goals in a 2-0 win. Stephen Fletcher was sent off in the half hour when Hibs were already 1-0 down. They're 1-0 down here as Chibraya stands over this free kick. It's just to the right of the centre circle. Between the centre circle, midway point between the centre circle and the touchline on this near side, into the Hearts box. It comes way too close though to Clark, who comes and claims with both gloves. 19 minutes played, Hibs 0, Hearts 1. Zander Clark, the St Johnstone double cup hero from a couple of seasons ago, and he's got good experience when it comes to the knockout competitions in this country.
What a deputy if you look behind Craig Gordon. I mean, the standard of goalkeepers that Robbie Nielsen's had to dispose of late has been brilliant. I know he lost Craig Gordon, but then you get Zander Clark, who's a terrific keeper, big presence, makes good saves, but just that you saw there, prepared to come for things.
Is he currently the favourite as he knocks one into the east?
Not great when he's getting a bouncing bomb to him right enough on
not ideal. I was about to say, is he favourite to keep goal for Scotland now in March?
I think he'll put himself right up there. I know they've got Kelly at Motherwell and David Marshall possibly coming back to the fold, but
Hearts have given it away here inside the box, and it's a clip ball which is not taking a touch off a Hearts man. It was behind for the goal kick. 20 minutes bang on the mark now. Hibs 0, Hearts 1. Hearts leading through Josh Ginnelly's 5th goal of the season. It's going to be an interesting one for Steve Clarke, that's for sure. I think there was talk he's trying to get Angus Gunn into the fray, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think David Marshall's hinted he'd be happy to answer an SOS, given how close he is to Craig Gordon as well, just to help out while he's out.
Yeah.
Here is Kai Rolls down on this near side. He's given it away though to Nisbet. Here's Yuan, still a little skip in the Hibs play. Despite being behind, he's found McGeady just outside the box, into it, now he shoots and he forces the save from Clark, and that's another Hibs corner as they try and turn the screw on their neighbours. 21st minute, Hibs 0, Hearts 1, Hibs corner.
Once again, Nisbet work rate without the ball, wins it selfishly, and McGeady, edge of the box, what does he do? Shifts it a yard, gets his shot off. Good play from Hibs.
Another corner over on that far side. The Hibs left as they attack the goal to our right, with the Hearts fans bunched in behind it. It's a short corner this time by Chibraya to McGeady, taking on Devlin. Goes on to the left, back on to the right, then to the left, cuts it back, looking for Yuan, but it's gone straight to Snodgrass. If that comes to Yuan, you might have got a shot in goal there, and there's a trip by Mackay on Jego over on that far side. Of course, he's not going to be booked for that, but Barry Mackay is on a yellow card now, so he'll need to be careful as well. He's obviously not in the same kind of combative position that Jego is in, but it's little clumsy challenges like that. Another couple of them, he could be off. Free kick Hibs. Keep the pressure on here.
Target's got to be Porteous. Watch him, he's got terrific movement, set pieces. He doesn't stand still and expect the ball to land at him. He's always moving towards the ball.
Left-footed from Chibraya into the box, headed away by Shankland. Bouncing ball, Ginnelly tries to get there. Chibraya gets it first. Devlin sends it long into the Hibs half, picked up by Stevenson, and he immediately mops up and plays it back to his goalkeeper Marshall. 22 minutes played, almost a quarter into this one. Hibs the better team, but it is Hearts who have the lead, and as it stands it will be they in this evening's 5th round draw.
It's funny, Liam, because Lee Johnson has said that the Hibs front three are not world beaters at pressing, but they've been pretty good so far. Hearts need to do it quicker at the back. They're bringing pressure upon themselves by taking the extra touch. They've got the pace of Ginnelly, they can drop it short to Shankland, get the support from Mackay and Devlin, but so far they've been caught maybe 3 or 4 times with that press. Nisbet, as John spoke about, Yuan, McGeady, and I think Hibs are looking really dangerous on it. When the pound's quick in a group, they're catching Hearts out.
Hibs have been very nice and compact, out of possession, they're all close to one another. When you're close to one another, you nip things.
Hibs have only gone out at this stage 3 times in the last 20 years. That's a pretty good record, that, you would have to say. By contrast, Hearts have gone out at the first hurdle 4 times in the last 10. As Cochrane picks up on this near side, rolls it forward, comes right through to David Marshall, though he elects to pick it up, or control it, pick it up, rather than accept the goal kick. Wants to get Hibs up the pitch again quickly.
Good from Cochrane there, but again, that decision making in terms of the passes, hesitant, doors closed. Need to do things quicker.
Those Hearts defeats in the last decade at this stage came in the hands of Celtic twice. Hibs did knock them out just in the same year as Hearts won the Scottish Cup the last time they did, in 2012 against Hibs. And Brora Rangers, of course. That long ball for Ginnelly. Is he on or off? Is he on or off? He's controlled it. He shoots. It's deflected, and that's behind for the corner. Or is it offside? It's offside.
I mean, you get all the Hearts fans excited there, and the Hibs fans, because they're thinking, right, that's offside. I wasn't sure, but that's that run I'm talking about. He's made it 3 or 4 times. The ball hasn't come. That time it was delivered. He maybe went slightly early, but that's the threat. And what that will do, Liam, is deepen Porteous and Bashiri, because the fear of that. And then Shanklin's so clever, and Mackay, they'll start dropping into little areas in front of the back four.
And to counteract that from a Hibs defensive point, David Marshall's got to be at the edge of his box.
Higher position.
He's got to be much higher than he was.
Hibs 0, Hearts 1, 24 and a half minutes into the game. It's Hearts in possession with Mackay. It was a blind pass he played there, but he's put it straight to Jago. It's picked up here by Cadden, taking on Mackay down the right-hand side. Level with the penalty spots, level with the 6 now. That is, cross is pretty timid, breaks to Snodgrass. Now it's Cochrane, so they're bullied open by Cadden. Campbell, and then Jago flicks it with the right boot into the air, looking for Nisbet, headed away by Rolls. One back by Jago. Here's McGeady now, central area, he's giving it away though. Hill prods it through to Ginnelly. Support arriving in the middle from Shanklin. Ginnelly wide in the right just now. The Hibs players funneling back. It's Ginnelly's cross, which is cut out by Chevraya, and out for a throw-in to Hearts over on the far side, level with the Hibs penalty spot. The Hearts right, as they attack the goal to the left.
Don't mind that with Ginnelly, you know, he gets wide. He could have maybe held up for support. He knows that Shanklin's a goal machine. He puts it in there. There's every chance he'll get on the end of it. Just one thought: get out your feet, put a cross in.
Chevraya wins it back off Ginnelly. Plays it straight off Ginnelly, but it bounces favourably for Hibs for Campbell. He's in a bit of a cul-de-sac there. He does well to steer out of it and pass it back to his goalkeeper. He's in a very dangerous position there, as Marshall with the right foot cleverly dinks it out to the left for Chevraya, midway inside his own half. It's the Croatian. He passes it back to Porteous, back in his more recognisable centre-half spot, having been in defensive midfield recently. Hill's been caught, and now it's Hibs with Nisbet. Campbell ahead of him. Nisbet driving forward, and his feet taken from him, the edge of the D there.
Yeah.
And that's a free kick to Hibs, just outside the Hearts box.
I think there'll be a yellow for Cochrane on the block on Ewan, and I think Tony Sibic will be lucky to escape a yellow for the challenge on Nisbet. Again, look, it's obvious. I think the information must come from Robbie Nielsen to Lee McCulloch on the bench there. Do it quicker. That's James Hill then get robbed with the pressure of Hibs. They're bringing their own problems, but brilliant intention from Hibs, I have to say. Nisbet with a drive and run. What an opportunity this is.
Well, there are a few in green and white seemingly very, very interested in this free kick.
Well, it's central. It's what, 20 odd yards out. It is the perfect. If you're practicing free kicks, I'll hand over to John. He's scored a few himself, and I think this would be perfect for either side.
Well, you got the left, Cabraya's over it. Nisbet's got the ball in his hand. He looks like his body language is telling me he's hitting it. I don't mind that at all.
Looks like a smash, the sort of run up, John, would you say?
Yep.
From Nisbet.
Hit the target. I always say hit the target. Less power, more accuracy. Too many of them go for power, don't hit the target. Pass it into the net.
Easter Road waits with bated breath for Kevin Nisbet. Don Robertson's just sorting the wall out just now.
Hey, Cabraya can bend out his left peg, bottom right hand corner.
Xander Clark, central position for a central free kick. Not giving away, he's slightly off his line to make the goal smaller as well.
Chevraya with the left, or Nisbet with the right. There's the whistle. Nisbet's making a run towards it, he hits it, it's straight into the wall, and then breaks to Yuan, who passes it back the way for Jago, and Hearts are going to force him all the way back to his goalkeeper. Well, it's an anti-climax in the end from Kevin Nisbet for the Hibs fans. It remains 1-0 Hearts.
Smashed it into the wall. He's got to do better than that. These are key moments, big match. You've got to do better. Set pieces, least work the goalkeeper.
Third time this season Hibs find themselves behind against Hearts. Of course, they were 2-0 down in last season's semi-final before Cadden pulled them back into it, but their hopes of mounting the complete comeback ended when Joe Newell was sent off. They forced a fabulous save, I think it was Porteous, out of Craig Gordon in the second half of that semi-final. It was an incredible bit of goalkeeping. He saved it onto the post, as you would expect. Of course, no Craig Gordon in the Hearts team, though they are managing fine without their club captain. He's Snodgrass as well, strong against Campbell to win it back on the near side, but Campbell wins it back off Cochrane illegally, says Don Robertson. Robert Snodgrass is still walking around football pitches just now with the swagger that he had as an 18-year-old at Livingston.
He shows tremendous body strength and balance there. He's just so calm in possession, isn't he?
That's exactly what I was going to say, John. He sees things, so he's not rushed because he's not get the head pinned to his chest. His head's up, he's composed.
Always a sign of a top player when he does think quickly, but he's never rushed.
He's in with that diag.
Oh, that's a big diagonal ball out to the right. Looking for Smith, won back by Hibs. Chabraya, they've given it away very quickly. Stevenson can't get there. Smith knocks it back onto the halfway line for Hill, who finds Smith, who finds Hill. Remember watching Robert Snodgrass and the king of this fixture, John Robertson, when they were both at Livingston. Snodgrass was a youngster and was quite happy to exchange unpleasantries with Robbo as a youngster. He had no problem doing that, and now he's wearing the maroon.
Oh, he's not
That's
getting
a terrible situation for the Hibs defence again there, as Mackay threaded it through for Shanklin. Marshall came out, he was almost caught in no man's land. Stays 1-0 Hearts.
Bashiri's looking at his goalkeeper, he sees he's getting pressed, so if it's a pass back it's got to be firm. He can't roll it back slowly like that.
I think he's trying to weight it so that Marsh can just smash it up the park, but it was a wee bit of reminiscence to the goal that Shanklin scores, where he nips in and pokes it through the legs of the goalkeeper. He didn't get a touch on it. I think he thought Big Marshall was going to clean him out, but really slack from Bashiri.
Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland, here on digital, online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, on your smart speaker, 810 medium wave and FM. Hibs 0, Hearts 1 in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Hearts corner, in it comes, breaks round about the penalty spot, cleared, good challenge actually by Campbell. Shanklin was lurking. They dealt with that corner a lot better than the one from which Hearts scored from. Here's Michael Smith up the other end, doing some defending. A lovely pirouette away from McGeady. How about that? McGeady is pretty good at that himself.
Under real pressure, Liam. He had no way out. His keeper was blocked off. The ball inside to Kai Rolls was blocked off from Campbell. He had to come up with something special there. McGeady bought it.
Love to see that. Confidence, composure.
As a manager, you'd love to have seen that from your fullback.
Manager,
okay,
teammate, supporter. That's my type of footballer.
33-34. And Michael Smith. And they've got a right good blend in this Hearts squad just now, and the two veterans and Smith and Snodgrass at the heart of it. And Snodgrass doing well against Nisbet. Now Devlin flights the ball out to Smith, up against Chabraya on the far side, lifts it over Chabraya's head, eventually falls to Devlin in the centre circle. He rolls it back the way to Hill, looks up, right foot, side foot ball down the line for Ginnelly. He was down,
a wee late one with Porteous there.
Yeah, shoved to the deck there by Porteous.
Tried to play the 1-2. Yeah, he tried to play the 1-2, Liam, just bounced in, and he bounces it back to go and spin. Porteous, nah, not today, son. Leaves one on him.
Again, that's what he's going to get better at if he wants to be classed as a top class defender. Decision making, when to go and dip your foot in and when not to.
I think you can block John with the use of the arm, just getting a contact, a touch on him, but he's gone with the boot there, and this is almost identical. I mean, what, maybe 10 yards back.
Yep.
But same in from the byline, or into the touchline there from Robert Snodgrass. And you just know it's going to come in with quality on it.
And again, it's a needless free kick. He's going nowhere. He's
and on Ginnelly.
Yes.
Some of the threat that Hibs posed earlier has evaporated a little, and Hearts have a free kick in almost the identical position from which they ended up scoring from. It's not as good from Snodgrass this time, and away by Jago at the edge of the day. Yuan with a lovely little twist into the path of McGeady. Driving down the left hand side is McGeady, level with the Hearts 18, chops in field, crosses in, Campbell's there, but he can't find the target with the header, and it goes wide of the right hand post, and it will stay Hibs 0, Hearts 1. But yet another chance for the Hibbies, and Kevin Nisbet's crouching down, with his face in his hands, because he knows Josh Campbell has just spurned a brilliant chance at the back post.
And it was a magnificent counter-attack from Hibs. And again, it's McGeady in that wide area. Comes in with his right foot. Great delivery to the back post. I think he's good. He's just slightly mistimed his jump.
He's sort of on the way down, John, and I know Nisbet's actually asking him to head it back, which would have been quite incredible had the neck muscles to punch her up back in towards Nisbet. I mean, I don't think that would ever been possible, but that's what he was asking for. But it was, I tell you, that Campbell has got some energy. He's got some lungs on him. He goes from back to front very quickly.
And Roki Bashiri gets onto a through ball, which was aimed for Ginnelly. And it's played by Bashiri off Mackay and out for a Hibs throw-in on this near side. Just been saying, John, that they haven't posed as much of a threat in the last 10 minutes or so, Hibs, but that was some chance.
Well, it's what you want to see as a manager, going from one end of the pitch to the other. But they're capable of that with Johan McGeady. Nisbet gets in the box, and as Neil just says, Josh Campbell's got terrific energy, likes to get in the box.
He's got a great engine, John. I mean, I know he's been tasked today to try and stop Robert Snodgrass from building, but he's releasing at good points. He's identifying that if Hibs are on the counter-attack, he can just let Snodgrass go.
Big long ball by Sibic down the left, looking for Cochrane, won by Cadden, breaks to Mackay, finds Shanklin. Good challenge by Jago, picked up by Cochrane though, on the near side. Jago comes to meet him, and out off the Australian international for a throw into Hearts on this near side. And James Jago, the latest Aussie international to join Scottish football clubs. Hearts have a few in their squad. As Shanklin plays it to Cochrane, he's inside the box here. Cochrane, across it comes, chance for number 2. Smith's effort scuffed a goal. Marshall holds on, but what a chance it was for a second Hearts goal. 10 minutes from half time, Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
Great take from Lawrence Shanklin. Cochrane continues his run into the box. He just kind of chokes a little pass back, and there was Smith getting on the back of Chabraya.
Here's Yuan up the other end for Hibs, right hand side of the Hearts box, cross ball in, breaks back to Cadden. It's blocked by Hill. Some optimistic shouts for handball. Stevenson rolls it to Chabraya on the left. And the astonishing if this finishes 1-0. Hibs have had most of the chances. They trail though. It's a great ball by Chabraya. Here's McGeady driving into the area. It's a long ball to the back post. It's the wrong decision because Yuan can't keep it in play. He has to pull it back low, and it stays. Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
I mean, there's a terrific ball from Chabraya. Played him in beautifully. A player of McGeady's quality, you expect him to deliver a little bit better than that. Just shows he's human. Disappointing.
Yeah, he's just tried to lift it towards the back post. I think his target was Campbell again, where I think a pullback, as you said, Liam, was on. But what a block from Hill. It looked like he came off the inside of his thigh. I don't think there's any check on it whatsoever. A really big block. Was it Cadden that hit it on the bounce? I'm not sure.
It was, yeah.
But again, sometimes this game has been breathless. It's gone from one side to the other. If you're not equipped with a decent engine under the hood, then you're just going to disappear in this match.
And up the other end, Michael Smith had a great chance. He took his goal against Aberdeen the other night beautifully, but this time it was kind of scuffed, wasn't it? And he was annoyed he's not made better contact with that.
Yeah, and left foot finish, you're right. And I think he comes in, and maybe Chabraya's quite close to him. He doesn't get quite the good enough backlift to him, but it was still a good chance.
It's been a little bit milder recently, decent conditions for the game, not really a breath of wind to be spoken of. Slight flutter in the flags in the top of the big screens to the right and to the left, either side of the east stand. It's not the best pitch in the world, none of them are right now. As that goes out of play for a throw into Hearts to be taken by Hill, level with the edge of the centre circle inside his own half. Hearts have had to weather another little green and white storm though. Hibs once again failing to take their chances, and that is a problem for Lee Johnson, because this is a huge game for the manager. Here is Porteous, and a long ball forward, Nisbet trying to hold off Sibic, who gets a foot onto it, breaks to Campbell, but breaks back to Sibic, who rolls it forward to Devlin, nicked off him by Jago. The two Australia internationals chipped forward. It's harmless though. Comes to Sibic, who goes back to Xander Clark, takes a touch and boots it forward with the right foot across the halfway line, controlled, unchallenged by Chabraya, and infield to Jago. Not a great touch, he goes down, he's won the free kick off Mackay. Those two have had a few little mini battles in the game so far, which remains 1-0 Hearts, 7 minutes from the end of the opening 45. Long ball forward, looking for Eli Yuan, headed away by Rolls, only as far as Stevenson. He couldn't quite force it to Campbell.
So
it breaks to Cadden off Mackay. Cadden's cross in, headed away at the penalty spot by Civic. First time Stevenson to McGeady. Chabraya going in the overlaps. Aidan McGeady, cross deflected, comes off Hill. Not a great bit of control. He's fortunate because it actually worked out for him. He was able to run onto the ball that he made a mess of, and he gets it away. As Stevenson finds McGeady over on the far side. Down goes McGeady. Free kick Hibs out on that far side touchline, about level with the edge of the D of the Hearts box. Hearts leading 1-0 as we head towards the 39-minute mark.
Lazy from Barry Mackay out here. Just not looking. He's done one or two of those today, where he's just not checked his shoulder, played a slack pass, and Hibs are on the attack. McGeady again there, John, showing brilliant feet, isn't he?
Well, he's the one. Hibs feed him in that final third. He's going to create a chance. Every time he gets the ball, he's creating something, putting balls in the box.
He's 37 on his next birthday, Aidan McGeady. Still has the box of tricks though. As the free kick comes in, the header from Yuan, and it's clutched comfortably by Clark at his near post. I think the Hibs players are claiming that gone over the line for a corner. It's going to be Xander Clark to bowl it out to Cochrane on the near side, and the ball's still in play. You don't want to be spending your time having a go at the decision that's been made, as it comes forward and cleared out by Cadden for a Hearts throw in on the halfway line, just about.
That was a decent chance though. That was a decent chance. I thought Ewan got across the front, come off his shoulder, I think, and get nothing on it. I mean, if he gets a good flip there, Hibs are on rushing the back post.
He made a good run, he got in front of the defender, but his timing was out. It did hit his shoulder. It looked like that from here, that's for sure.
The Hearts have been to the final of the Scottish Cup 3 times in the last 4 seasons. Hibs have been to at least the semis of both National Cup competitions in each of the last 3 seasons. It's 2 very good records from the Edinburgh clubs, though no silverware to show for any of those campaigns. Hibs of course won it 2016, Hearts last won it in 2012. And both want to be in the mix. The draw wasn't kind to one of them come the close of play today. As it stands, it's Hearts who'll go through. Still lots of football to be played. Remember, extra time and penalties if required. The replays were abolished. As McGeady picks up midway inside the Hearts half. Low ball forward to Yuan, back to McGeady. Short out to Chabraya, and then back into McGeady. Under pressure from Shanklin. McGeady taking it for walkies into a central area. Shanklin's challenge. Breaks back to Porteous. Long ball looking for Cadden, and it's just going to bounce away from Cadden, and behind it goes for the goal kick to Hearts. 4 minutes to go until half time, or at least to the end of the 45. Hibs 0, Hearts 1. And a goal from Josh Ginnelly as he smashed it home early in proceedings. 10 minutes, it was the 10th minute when Ginnelly found the net.
I mean, the amount of times that Johan Nisbet's got out to fullback, centre halves, blocked it, made it go out for throw-ins. Really excellent work rate for their team. I think that's been the key element of the game for me so far, the work rate of the Hibs front 4. I'll put Josh Campbell into that.
It's so crucial that they don't, and at the moment there's no sign of it, but you never know. It's important for Hibs they don't go 2-0 down before the break, because we saw at Tynecastle the mountain was just too high to climb. They didn't even get to base camp in the end, and then conceded the late third through Humphreys after Shanklin had grabbed a couple and one from the spot. As it comes to Jego on this near side. 42 played, and it's with Porteous. It's now midway inside his own half. Flips it out to Cadden, header infield to Yuan. Takes it down, trying to backheel it through to Cadden. It breaks Hibs' way anyway with Campbell. He's got it to Cadden, wind the right. He's got a good ball on him, Chris Cadden. In comes the cross, headed away by Kai Rolls, only as far as Yuan. The edge of the Hearts box, slips it right to left to the D for Stevenson. Low ball, looking for McGeady, just too much on it, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Hearts, and it stays 1-0 to the visitors.
I mean, it's been a really good first half from my point of view, from Hibs. Hibs fans cannot be disappointed with the performance their teams put in here today. They've dominated the game, been the better team near enough from the first minute to what I went now, 40 seconds. They're 1-0 down, but they're playing some good football, looking dangerous, but They need to try and hit back in the net.
That's what I'm meaning though, John. They, as you said at the time, they had an excellent performance in the second half at Tynecastle at the start of the month, but they left themselves way too much work to do at that point. Still very much in this.
Yes, without a doubt. This game's certainly not over. A lot of football to be played, but Hibs need the next goal, that's for sure.
Here's Shankland, he goes from distance, and Marshall was the coolest man in Easter Road there. It might have been a few yards wide, but just for a moment it looked like that might just swerve its way into the top left.
He's not had many touches in the first 45 minutes, but he just took that on. That was a much better effort than the one early part of the game. I think Marsh did have it covered.
I would hope so, given his reaction to
it. He was pretty cool. But I still think that Hearts have allowed Hibs to come into the game and get a feel. I think they enjoyed the first part of the match, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, controlling things, but Hibs certainly have hit the button. They've got the players in the final third that are causing all sorts of trouble for Hearts.
At the moment, and it's a minimum, there will be 3 minutes added on at the end of the first half. We're into the final minute of the 45 plus 3. There's the VAR check for the goal and the injury to Nisbet. That's where that's come from. That goes out of play off Cadden last for a throw into Hearts down on this near side level with the 18-yard line. They've been excellent since the World Cup shutdown of Hearts. The injury problems, whilst they've still got some really important squad players sitting in the stands, the likes of Boyce, the likes of Halkett, Craig Gordon, Beningame, we haven't even seen this season. But they've got plenty back and they look fresh, they look hungry right now, and they have the lead in this cup tie. And they've been up against it for large spells of this first half. The Hibs haven't got a goal to show for it as yet as we go into the first of those 3 minutes of injury time. It's been confirmed down below us. Here's Cadden. Cadden stepping away from Kai Rolls, attacking the Hearts box here. Low ball for Nisbet, now it's with Campbell. Campbell rolls at the edge of the area, Stevenson hits it. It's high and wide, though he doesn't score many. He's played in all these Edinburgh derbies. This is his 46th this afternoon, but he's not a goal scorer. Lewis Stevenson, he's off target there, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
I mean, really good football from Hibs. Carden's had an excellent first 45 minutes. Johan's done well. Good play from Campbell and Nisbet linking up at the edge of the box. Laid off Lewis Stevenson. In fairness, I don't think he's scored too many goals for Hibs for 25 yards.
His eyes must have lit up there, though. I mean, it was sitting perfectly for him.
He scored 9 goals in about 560 odd appearances. So, and I remember one of those came against, I think it was Bonnyrigg at Tynecastle in this competition. So he doesn't score many. As McGeady takes it down on the chest on the far side. Foul on Smith, which again to the annoyance of the Hibernian supporters, in particular those over in the stand on the far side. It remains 1-0 here to Hearts as we move into the final minute and a half of the allocated stoppage time. There's certainly enough for Lee Johnson to hold on to when he gets the chance to speak to his players for 15 minutes shortly, though, that's for sure.
I don't think he'll be looking to change too much. He'll just say we have to keep going, you know, get the ball to Aidan McGeady. He's the guy that's creating the biggest threat for them, I think. So I don't think he'll be looking to change too much.
I mean, this Hibs team can't play much better than they've just played in this 45 minutes.
Well, that's a concern then.
Yep.
Because they're still 1-0 down, and I think Hearts have got plenty to improve on. They're getting too slow on the ball, they're getting robbed, they're getting caught, they've got the pressure of Ginnelly up top to go over if they want it. I don't think they're decisive enough, and that's something I believe Lee McCulloch, because obviously Robbie can't get there, they will try to address at half-time.
Yeah, Robbie Nielsen in the stand after his ordering off. And that long ball for Ginnelly. Michael Smith, a couple of paper cups were thrown at him on the far side, and he had a right good long stare at the Hibs fans in the East stand over there on the far side. He's a brave boy doing that as we go into the final 30 odd seconds here. Now, this has been an excellent Hibs performance, one of their best in recent times. They had a good first half at Ibrox straight off the back of the World Cup break. And generally speaking, they've not been in good form, just 3 wins in their last 13. As I was saying, Hearts have come back off the back of that World Cup, unbeaten in 8, winning 5 of them, and they are winning this one, the closing seconds of the first half here. of Hearts leading 1-0. And it's a throw-in to be taken by Hill, but Don Robertson sounds the half-time whistle. Well, the usual electricity in the stands, the usual frantic-like football on the pitch here in this Edinburgh derby, which Hibs have had the better of in this first half. I don't think there's any question about that. I think even Robbie Nielsen would admit that that is the case. Yeah, here they are behind to Josh Ginnelly's 5th goal of the season. He struck it brilliantly well. Hibs had 2 chances to defend the Robert Snodgrass free kick. They failed on both occasions. They paid the price as Ginnelly whacked it into the bottom left corner to send the Hearts fans up the other end of Easter Road wild as they eye up the 5th round. But Hibs have had chances. They've had big chances as well. Josh Campbell hit the post. He also missed with a header as well at the back post area that he'd hit earlier on in that first half. Michael Smith put just past his own goal as well. And Michael Smith actually had an effort 10 minutes from half-time with a chance to extend the Hearts advantage. Hibs the better team. The Hearts with the lead. Half-time at Easter Road in the Scottish Cup 4th round Edinburgh derby. It's Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
The Scottish Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Cross court comes, must be it.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
This winter, Glasgow comes to life for Celtic Connections.
Still you're leaving for the city.
The annual Roots Traditional and World Music Festival is back in the city.
And BBC Radio Scotland is celebrating its 30th year with the very best in live music, conversation and entertainment.
Join us for Take the Floor, the afternoon show and the key sessions.
Along with 2 episodes of Travelling Folk, including a 30th anniversary special on the 2nd of February.
Coverage begins on the key sessions with me, Roddy Hart, Wednesday night at 8.
Celtic Connections on BBC Radio Scotland and on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. 1-0 it is for Heart of Midlothian here at Easter Road against Hibernian. A little bit later, 5 o'clock, there's Rugby Sports Sound. You can listen into full live coverage of Edinburgh against Saracens. You've got the highlights from this afternoon's Edinburgh derby, and of course all the action from yesterday too. Sports Scene at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And that's the same channel tomorrow night for the what should be the final tie of the 4th round. An intriguing one, Darvel against Aberdeen. We will preview that one a little bit later in the programme. As the week progresses, you can see the SWPL highlights on Tuesday night on the BBC Scotland channel, and then Championship Live on Friday night, Cove Rangers against Ayr United. Busy week as ever to come, still plenty of action to unfold here. Got to say over the feast, over the first 45 minutes, Neil McCann, has been a very enjoyable encounter, hasn't it?
It has. I've loved the game. It's been a good derby. It's plenty of energy in it. There's been a wee bit of needle. Typically, though, as it can turn out, you know, the way Hibs might say they've played okay, but they're sitting looking at nothing from the match. The final touches need to be put on it from Hibs. I think John and I have both said, as Liam has as well, that they have been the most dangerous side, they've been a better side, but Hearts always possess a capability. Spoke about Ginnelly and how transformed he's been of late, and he just highlights it there with his confidence, Richard, to just go and step onto that and hit it and execute it well, because it wasn't an easy one, it was a difficult one. It was dropping, had to keep his eye on it, make sure his body's over the top, control it, and he certainly did that. But I believe that Hearts have brought their own trouble at times by being indecisive. I've said it many times during the commentary there that they need to make their mind up quicker. Snodgrass can't show for it like he normally has been doing in the recent games, because he's almost suffocated by Campbell. And if that ball isn't on, then they need to take responsibility to see something else. If it's not Devlin getting on it, hit the long one, get in touch and squeeze the game, because they're bringing in trouble onto them in dangerous areas. And I think only sooner or later McGeady, you have to think, will come up with a piece of quality that will carve open a real 100% chance for Hibs, and then it remains to be seen whether they can take it. But it's been a great game, I've really enjoyed it.
John, you said that there is much for the home fans to have enjoyed. They won't enjoy the scoreline, of course, and let's be honest, it's the Cup, that's all that really matters. Is there hope for Hibs, given what you've seen from them in the first half?
Yes, without a doubt. I think they reacted terrifically well after going a goal behind. disappointing goal from Hibs' point of view, but from Hearts, terrific ball into the box. But I think Hibs have had, for 30 minutes, Hibs are on the front foot, forcing the game, moving the ball left to right, getting McGeady in possession, high up the pitch. McGeady looking a threat every time he's got the ball. He's got the beating of the fullback. I think Cadden on the right hand side is getting forward, as he always did, getting in the box. But for me, the key aspect has been that the front three from Hibs have really pressed Hearts' back three and wing backs at the right time, and haven't given them time to play forward, quality forward passes into the midfield area or into the strikers or in behind the Hibs back four. So from a Hibs manager's point of view, he'll be really happy with a lot of the football he's seen, and also the terrific attitude, the work ethics there. The only thing they're lacking is putting it in the back of the net, and they've been very close. And the manager, I'm sure he'll just in at half time, not a lot to say. Same again, guys, same again. We'll play the same way we are. We'll create chances, one's bound to go in. And especially got Nisbet at the top of the pitch, who is a goal threat. We spoke about him. Yeah, he hasn't, nothing's fallen to him yet, but I'll be very surprised if he doesn't, in the second half, get a chance. The question is, can McGeady last? I don't think he'll last the 90 minutes, so we'll probably have to replace him. But overall, I think it's been a good game of football.
I suppose the big concern, and you highlighted there, nothing really falling from Nisbet. He's not had an opportunity. The one that he might have had, Kai Rowles, made a magnificent clearing challenge just on the edge of the 6-yard box. But Campbell's had a couple of opportunities. McGeady's had an opportunity. There was Lewis Stevenson towards the end of the half there as well. They're falling not to the right person, I think.
But I think over a 90-minute period, Nisbet gets into good positions. Something will fall, but the most important from the manager's point of view, and Kevin Nisbet's work ethic has been fantastic, and his hold-up play. When it's ever been thrown up to him, he's held possession and he's laid his teammates in. So although Nisbet's not had any chances or shots on target, he's had a very good 45 minutes.
Well, I'm not sure Hibs have, Richard, I don't know if you've been scribbling there, but I don't remember Xander Clark having to make a save. I know the one with Josh Campbell comes off the post, Kai rolls with that block, Campbell towards the back post, but I don't remember him making a save.
He's not made a save, no. Couple wide.
Yeah, so that's a real concern, I think, that Lee Johnson will have, that this side of fashioning opportunities and playing well, but not even testing the goalkeeper. David Marshall, however, is he's pulled one out. I think it was the one with Cochrane, and he slaps it across the goal, and there was Michael Smith coming in side Chabraya. But on the whole, there's not been too much activity for the keepers to have to deal with. So both sides have got improvements in that department, but where Hearts hold the advantage of 1-0, they don't really need to go gung-ho and open up. And as we know, Robbie Nielsen is not the type of manager to switch the afterburner on and go and chase the second goal. I think he'll just ask for more composure in the centre-backs, 3 centre-backs, and the wing-backs, as John's saying, if you're coming under pressure, don't bring it on, just put it in the channel, let Ginnelly run after it, or Barry Mackay, who's been quiet, or drop it into Shanklin's chest and get support to him.
1-0, the goal coming from Josh Ginnelly, and actually it's a sign of a player in form, Neil, isn't it? You said he showed great technique, finishing the way he did, but definitely. I actually had no doubt, as soon as I saw the ball drop to him, you just felt he was going to find the net.
Fancied him, scored a few goals of late. I think he's enjoying his time now, because I know I know him and I liked him. I actually really liked him when he came to the side. I enjoyed watching his pace. He's very direct, but he's been given a slightly freer role to get in touch more with Shanklin, and if anything, he's playing as pretty much the high striker, with Shanklin dropping deep in there beside Barry Mackay at times. So I know as a wide player, when you're given that release to go and run in behind, bend your runs, it brings confidence. If you're scoring, if you're assisting, it just highlights that fact, and then you've got a belief about your game, Richard, and he certainly has that. He's gone 3 or 4 times over the back, and he's got in once. It was flagged offside. When Hibs start to take more risk, if this game remains at 1-0, that's when you'll see more opportunities. You'll see Ginnelly really starting to stretch the game, and it just remains to be seen whether Hibs will take chances early in the second half, or they'll try and keep it calm for the first 15 minutes and then push the button.
Robert Snodgrass, we've talked a fair bit about has he had the influence, John, that you'd have anticipated him having in this game?
No, I don't think he hasn't controlled the game. He hasn't had a lot of possession. Obviously his delivery into the box for the goal, he's contributed enormously to that. And Josh Campbell, his role is to stop him getting on the ball, and he has done a good job. And on top of that, Campbell's broke away from him a few times and got into the back post. Campbell has got the energy. But as the game goes on, I would imagine Snodgrass will get his moments in possession, and the key thing for him is make sure he doesn't cause damage with his passes. I think the manager will be stressing his front four, I'm talking McGeady, Nisbet, Johan and Campbell, to continue with their press and don't let the Hibs Hearts back three and wing backs get time in the ball to lift their head up, play those diagonals over the Hibs back four. So that's the test. Can they keep that going for 90 minutes? They've worked ever so hard in the first 45 minutes, but they're going to have to do it for 90 minutes. To win derby matches, you've got to be at it for 90 minutes, not 45.
When will this crowd turn, John?
I think
because I think they will eventually.
Well, I think
they've been patient because they've seen a good product.
It's all about how the Hibs players perform in the second half. If they see a Hibs team that's chasing everything down, that isn't sitting off Hearts, letting Hearts get 3, 4, 5 possession, easy passes, that's when the Hibs fans will turn if Hearts get passes and start taking possession of the game. But that hasn't happened so far, so that's the challenge for the Hibs players, because if they do set off Hearts, at any moment Hearts start popping the ball about, that's when you see fans turning.
That second goal is out. Look, I mean, it goes almost without saying, but you just imagine the impact that would have, not just Neil and the home fans, but the home players as well.
Yeah, it would suck the life out of them, Richard, to be honest. I know when Hearts went 2 up in the last fixture at Tynecastle, I know Hibs come into the game, but it was due to the fact that Hearts deepened. They deepened into that. They flattened out the wing backs. It became a back five. They invited pressure on, and Hibs started to get a foothold in the match. And it brought pressure upon them, but they always retained that threat. Speak about the pace of Giannelli, but Humphrey's a big, powerful lad. We saw that in the third goal where he was behind Stevenson, bullied him, finished it, game done. If Hearts go and hunt and they're able to get their second goal, then I think Hibs, this place will make it really difficult for the playing staff on the pitch, and then Lee Johnson has got big decisions to make to get themselves back into the game.
Here's a question for you, Neil. You're Robin Nielsen. You think he should be or will be telling his players, let's go for the jugular, go for that second and kill this home support? Or do you think he'll be saying, sit back, keep it tight, we've won the match, we win 1-0?
I think Robbie's the latter, John. I just don't think he's that type of coach. But what I would say is, I still think on the side that he's picked today and the ones on the bench, you look at Forrest, Humphreys, the new signings, he's got the ability to go for it should he need to. But right now, he doesn't have to. What he needs to do is brush up on that defensive aspect, because the balls that Hibs have searched into the channels and stuff, or they've robbed them and gone and attacked, as I said, has been self-inflicted. Now if you polish up that and you stretch the game by hitting Shanklin or Mackay or Giannelli long, then it deepens Hibs' backline. You said about how compact Hibs have been because of the front three. Maybe Ewan and Nisbet have got legs, McGeady hasn't. So because of the nature of the short passing that Hearts have gone through, it's allowed Hibs to squeeze the game. I know the threat of Giannelli's still there, but Porteous is no slouch, and neither is Bashiri. But the midfield have been able to compact the game so they can compress it in a nature where it's not going back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. And if you suddenly sit off, as you said, if that energy pops and Hearts starts to look to stretch it, they've got guys that can really hurt Hibs if they want to. And that's, I think, the tactic that Robbie should be taking. But I think he'll just go in there and say, look, we just keep sucking it up, and they'll take more risk, and then we'll get in.
So I think it's a dangerous game for Robbie if he sits back,
absolutely.
Which means McGeady can get the ball in the final third. If McGeady gets the ball in his own half, he's not a threat to anybody. But if you sit back, it allows Hibs left fullback to feed McGeady high up the pitch.
What he might say, because I think McGeady's exceptional quick feet. It reminds me when I played with Andrew Kanchelskis. I mean, the speed of feet is absolutely outrageous at times. I used to watch Andre, he would just tip, it was like we've got a wee patter, and then he would just go. And McGeady's got it. He's still got it. He might be 36 approaching 37, he's still got that. But has he got the afterburner to go and isolate a 1v1 situation with a fullback? I think he still has, maybe on occasion, but not constantly. What he might do, because he's been getting joy with space because Smith's beyond him, and then he's going 1v1 with Hill, he might actually drop Michael Smith and say, you stay at home for a wee bit, and we'll allow Cochrane to maybe get a wee bit more advanced, and that might nullify the threat of McGeady and allow him to stay more defensive.
For me, if Hibs are going to create and score a goal in this game, I'll be very surprised if it doesn't come from a final pass from Aidan McGeady or a shot from Aidan McGeady.
Well, he's certainly been a big figure for Hibernian. Cadden also making plenty inroads down the right hand side. from that full-back position, and the Hibernian players are back out. They're trailing, remember, by 1-0. It was scored early in the 10th minute by Josh Ginelli as he volleyed home his 5th of the season. 3/4 of this stadium ring with boos as the Heart of Midlothian players make their way back out for the second half, safe in the knowledge that they are 45 minutes away from a place in the 5th round of this season's Scottish Cup, but a lot of hard work still to be done and a lot of football still to be played over the next 45 minutes, and still potentially beyond that. It will be decided this afternoon, remember. As things stands, Ginelli's goal has Hearts in front and favourites to be in that draw for the next round, the 5th round, which will take place at 6 o'clock this evening. Here comes the referee, Don Robertson. We're settling in, ready to get the second half up and running. 1-0 it is for the visitors as we rejoin Neil McCann, John Collins and Liam McLeod.
This is the 40th time these two have met in the Scottish Cup. Hearts have the edge, 17 wins to Hibs 12, 10 draws, no replays after drawn matches these days, of course, in this competition. Hearts unbeaten in 8 derbies dating back to Boxing Day 2019 as Hibs get the second half underway of this 4th round tie, trailing 1-0 right to left in the green and white. Hearts wearing the maroon and white, as you would expect in this fixture, as that drops out of play for a throw-in over on the far side. No changes to either lineup by either manager. The interval, so Marshall in goal for Hibs, Cadden, Rocky, Porteous and Chibraya across the back, Campbell, Jago, Stevenson, McGeady and Ewan either side of Nisbet. For Hearts, Clark in goal, Hill, Subic and Rowles across the back, Smith and Cochrane wide, Devlin and Snodgrass in the middle, with Ginelli and Mackay either side of Shankland. Here come Hibs on the front foot early in the second half, wide right of the Hearts box as they go right to left, attacking the famous 5 end. Bit of late afternoon sunshine has broken out in the skies above in the Port of Leith as Hibs give it away. Picked up by Ginelli to Shankland. Good challenge by Stevenson. Breaks to McGeady. Now it's Campbell. McGeady wide on the left-hand side. Level with the Hearts 6-yard line now. Gets his cross ball in. The chest from Sibic. And then he clears with the right foot high into the air. And it will drop out for a throw into Hibs on the halfway line. Down below us here. It's a decent start by Lee Johnson's team at the start of the second half. They're playing it in the Hearts half. As Porteous clips it forward, it's straight to Hill though, and he gets it clear into Hibs territory. Shankland for Cochrane, first time he was under pressure, Cochrane, so he's booted it forward. Bushiri covers the ground well across the 18-yard line, and it's good footwork to get himself away from Devlin, and now he drives forward and rolls it to his left for McGeady. Forward here to Nisbet, and then he pokes it back into his own half for Stevenson, who cross fields it left to right of the centre circle, out to the right-hand touchline here for Ellie Ewan. Ewan up against Barry Mackay. It's actually quite a quiet match. Ewan taking on Mackay. Right-hand side, low ball, blocked by Mackay. Ewan rolls it back to Jago, looks up, right foot from the debutant, whirls up into the air and headed away by Hill. Trying to keep it in place. Smith, he's not going to manage that. Throw in to Hibs, level with the Hearts 18 on this main stand side.
Pretty much started off the second half as they finished the first, Liam. John asked the question whether Hearts would come out and be more forceful, and I thought it would be slightly more defensive side, and that's exactly what it's been like. Hibs controlling the match so far.
Cadden out to the right-hand side for Ellie Ewan. Only 2 times this season they haven't managed to score in a home game. Hibs as Ewan hits the byline across the face, and then it breaks back onto the 6-yard line, and Robert Snodgrass, I think, was the crucial figure there as he gets in ahead of Nisbet and gets it away out to this left-hand side. Picked up by McGeady, back to Chibraya. Lovely little header at goal which Clark holds on to from Josh Campbell, who beats the Easter Road pitch in frustration. 48 minutes really played, 1-0 Hearts.
Tremendous play from Hibs. Johan over on the far right-hand side. One thing in mind, can he get to the byline? Beats Cochrane easy, delivers into the box. Hibs a whisker away from a tap-in. Good play.
Snodgrass was in a good position on his 6-yard line there, and he's in the halfway line here. Snodgrass finds Devlin, who caresses it into the path of Mackay. Forward for Shankland. It's well defended though by Cadden. Ewan picks up midway inside his own half.
Barry Mackay's been poor, so slack in possession today, several times now.
He was yellow carded in the first half as well, as there's a collision there between Shankland and Bushiri. There's a yellow card coming out for Lawrence Shankland here, and for Bushiri, Don Robertson, flashing the yellow in the face of both of them.
A wee bit of afters. We will not get the luxury of a replay here, but they came together with Shanklin putting Bashiri under pressure. It continued. And Porteous getting involved as well. He's pushing Shanklin in the back. He's trying to noise it up some more.
I've got to give Bashiri credit. He showed a lot of composure at the start of this second half. A couple of times he's brought forward. He's driven forward with the ball and played it well.
Free kick is to Hibs. Midway inside their own half, taken by Porteous. Short infield to Rocky Bashiri, who comes up towards halfway. Check by Giannelli, he goes back the way to Porteous. He switches it to Diego out on that right hand side. Looks up the line, it's a long ball, but he puts it straight into touch. And now he goes for a throw in. He's not going to be out of match fitness, Diego, so he should be able to last the course. As Yuan drifts in field, good play from him. I think the target was Stevenson. It is Stevenson who's on it now. As he comes forward, rolls it out to McGeady on this left-hand side. McGeady shimmies infield away from Devlin, looking up at the Hearts goal. He shoots, he's well off target though. And that will be a goal kick to the visitors, and it will remain 1-0 to the visitors as we tick on to the 50-minute mark here.
It's a poor strike from McGeady. He's got tremendous technical ability. I love it when he's driving at the full-backs on the pitch. The ball stuck to his foot.
I thought he might have bent that, John. I think he was looking for the opening to wrap his foot around it, but
that's what he should have done. He went for power, went for laces instead.
He went for laces, and it just sort of got out his range. That's made him cut it.
Coming on 2 decades since his Celtic debut, which came against Hearts at Tynecastle, and he scored. But it's Barry Mackay who's driving forward for the visitors. Rolls it through for Giannelli. Straight to Porteous, though, and a lovely little flick by Ryan Porteous. He's on his bike here, incidentally, as he tries to get back onto it. Chabraya finds him on the touchline. He doesn't have the tricks this time, though. He goes through his legs and out for a Hearts throw-in on the near side. 1-0 to Hearts.
I don't know what he's trying to do there, Ryan Porteous, but what he should have done is just slip up the wing with his left foot. Had a little dance round it, getting carried away.
He got a bit excited there, the big fella.
The first bit was great, second not so much.
They've got guys that can do that, Ryan. They play ahead of you. But listen, he's really fired up, you can tell. I love the boy's attitude, I have to say. I love the boy's attitude. He wears his heart on his sleeve all the time. You can see he's a Hibs boy as well, and he absolutely adores this fixture.
It could be his last go at it. As the exit door creaks further open for Ryan Porteous. We're hearing Watford are the leading club for him now, for his services. Shanklin picks up level with the Hibs 18 on the near side. Turns away from McGeady, back to Hill, who's battling for it but losing it, and then Porteous plays it off Shanklin and out for a throw into Hibs on this near side.
Again, good play from Josh Campbell, winning the ball there, getting his tackle in, winning possession back for his teammates.
It's going to be a throw into Hibs on the near side, taken by Chabraya. He gets it back.
That's a great pass.
Yeah, dinked up to the halfway line for Campbell, then Nisbet infield to Stevenson. Switch from Stevenson right to the centre circle for Eli Yuan. Cadden wants it down the right. He's waited too long for that to be a serious option. He's managed to free himself again. Now Cadden gets there. Cross comes in. He's deflected behind. Hibs corner. He's to try and crank up the pressure and try and find this equalising goal.
Yuan's looking full of energy and lively, but on that occasion he made the wrong choice. Cadden's made the great overlapping run to the byline. He's got to play him in. Instead he comes in and makes the wrong choice, but Yuan is looking sharp.
Corner to Hibs. Come over on that Hibernian right-hand side. Chabraya with the left foot, in-swinging corner coming up. Hearts have everyone back. In it comes off a Hearts head. It might have been Cochrane.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, really good header. And it will go out for a throw-in on the near side. For Hibs about level with the Hearts 6-yard line. Porteous is over it just now. And I think he's just going to leave it for Marian Chabraya, who comes over to take it. A chance to bowl the ball into the Hearts box here for the Hibs number 3. 53 now played. Still Hearts leading 1-0, trying to keep Hibernian at arm's length here. Chabraya with a long throw into the box, comes off Porteous' head, headed away by Civic, controlled by Campbell in the chest. His efforts blocked by Civic, and Mackay might get there, but Diego does well. He had to get there ahead of Barry Mackay. Yuan's lost it in the far side though, and now it's Mackay looking to release Shanklin. Long ball, header away by Chabraya, only as far as the goal scorer Giannelli, who rolls it back into his own half for Hill, to Snodgrass, and back here to James Hill. who gets it now to Ginnelly and then to Snodgrass. Hearts looking to try and take the sting out of it right now, but Mackay again. Neil's already highlighted he's been a little bit lazy at times this afternoon, and he's been pickpocketed, and Hibs have it back now with Rocky Bushiri across halfway. Chabraya has an option to his left, so too's Lewis Stevenson in loads of space, and he's found him. Stevenson, left-hand side of the box, swings his left foot at it, and it comes too high for Nisbet, and Hearts head clear. And Mackay gets it away and finds Shanklin on the left. And suddenly Hibs are a little bit open at the back as Lawrence Shanklin bounds forward up towards the edge of the Hibs box. He's right on the 18 now as he shoots, and Marshall holds on.
Brilliant.
Made the freedom of leaf there, Lawrence Shanklin. 54.5 played. Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
Josh Campbell's made a 60-yard run back to double up.
Yeah.
Terrific attitude and great energy.
But he's run 40 yards there. I mean, he's still got a shot at Hibs goal. Yeah, it's comfortable for David Marshall, but it's really good from Lawrence Shanklin. I wasn't sure if he had the legs, but he did. He looked quick, he looked purposeful, one thought in his head. But yeah, you're touching on Barry Mackay, Liam. I mean, he's an absolute passenger just now. He's had one or two nice passes. He's so talented, but sometimes he just is not involved, as if he's disinterested.
I'll be surprised if he stays on the pitch much longer.
Well, they've got Forrest there, of course. They've got Humphreys, they've got new signings to freshen it up. But just now, I think Robbie Nielsen must be getting the message down that if he doesn't get his finger out soon, because this is a derby, if you're a man down a derby, you're up against it. There'll be changes made.
Perhaps, in particular, when you consider Hibs have probably shaded it as far as the respective performances are concerned. Hearts have been the inferior team, but it is they who lead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in a derby as long as you win. It doesn't matter in a cup tie as long as you're in the hat for the next round. And Hearts have got used to the Scottish Cup final in recent years, beaten twice by Celtic in 19 and 20, and then by Rangers after extra time. And I'm sure there'll still be Hearts fans who look back and wonder, had Ellis Sims scored in normal time, where the cup would have gone by the close of business at Hampden that afternoon. It's out for a Hibs throw in meantime, left-hand side of the Hearts box, taken by Chabraya to McGeady. Now Stevenson looking for an option, level with the 18, passes it back to the touchline for Chabraya. Low ball infield to Campbell, and he moves it back into the centre circle for Bushiri. Campbell was caught by Snodgrass off the ball. That may well be revisited by Don Robertson. Here's Ewan working the 1-2 with Jago out on that right-hand side. Ewan up against Cochrane, trying to get some space to cross. He's done brilliantly. He decides to take him on again. He's in the box, shoots with the left foot. It's a comfortable save for Xander Clark. Might he have put that into the danger area a little bit earlier, though? It stays 1-0 Hearts on 56.5.
He should have done better with his final strike. It's not good enough, but he's got the beating of Cochrane. Cochrane's all over the place.
It is. I'm telling you, if I'd have done that to the strikers I played with, I'd have been getting battered, because I'm watching Nisbet. He's made one run, he's made two, he's made three, and Ewan's chopping and changing. I mean, it does look a threat, John, I have to say, but if you're a striker, it's an absolute nightmare.
I agree.
Smith down the line for Devlin. Challenge comes from Porteous. Wins it back for Hibs, but he's had it nicked off him by the tenacious Devlin. Shanklin has it now. He shoots, deflected behind corner. It's come off Stevenson, who's protesting. He says that's a Hibs goal kick. Decision's been made, though, and it is a Hearts corner as they force a bit of defending from Hibernian. Rare defending in this second half. Barry Mackay going out to that far side to take it. As we approach the hour mark, 2.5 away from that now. Hibs 0, Hearts 1.
Shankland just tried to hit that with the outside of the boot there, didn't he? Send it towards the far post. Porteous robbed by the tenacity of Devlin.
Barry Mackay waiting to take. In swinging corner again. I think something's been thrown towards Barry Mackay over on that far side, that southeast corner of the stadium. In from Mackay, it's a poor delivery, it's easily away at the near post by Nisbet, and he's managed to volley it towards Ellie Ewan, who's taking on Cochrane down that right hand side, away from Cochrane, but Smith's there to slam the door in Ewan's face, and it remains 1-0 to Hearts.
That's brilliant cover from Michael Smith, because Ewan's given young Cochrane a really difficult afternoon here.
Hibs pick up in the midfield. Stevenson sweeping it back onto the edge of the centre circle for Porteous, who strides forward and shoots, and Clark holds on. He's 35 yards from goal there, Ryan Porteous. He's at least got it on target.
A little bit optimistic, but he's not scared to have a go.
Fortune favours the brave, as they say, in a cup tie. You just never know what it'll take to get you through. And Hearts pick up with Devlin. Short ball to Smith on the near side. We're in the 60th minute of the derby, this Scottish Cup 4th round tie, as Smith makes the block, driving into the Hibs box. Bushiri does enough to chest it back to Marshall.
Terrific defending from Bushiri. It was tight there, it wasn't Alun Pereira, the keeper, coming up behind him. Game's opened up now.
Hibs in possession here with Chego. Hearts going to be making a change shortly. We'll get to Brian in a moment. It's Bushiri for Hibs on the right, out to the touchline as pass goes. Forward towards Nisbet, chests it down, finds Campbell. Campbell switching the play to McGeady. Hibs trying to strike while the iron's hot here. It's McGeady. He's away from Smith, he's at the byline, gets the cross ball in, and then the spectacular effort from Stevenson in the penalty spot was wide of the right-hand post. It's fallen to the wrong man there. That was outstanding vintage play by Aidan McGeady down the left as we approach 60 minutes. 1-0 Hearts.
He's so difficult to play against because he can go inside with his right foot, as he's shown there. He just pops on the outside, gets to the byline, left foot whipped in, a beautiful ball.
Let's get confirmation of the change, Brian.
Yeah, Stephen Kingsley is coming on. It's Alex Cochrane, the player who's being replaced, although Michael Smith just signalled to the bench about 4 or 5 minutes ago that he was finished for the day, and he's actually just having a word with one of the Hearts backroom team at the moment. He's shaking his head, but Michael Smith for the moment is staying on. Alex Cochrane is coming off, and Stephen Kingsley, a very able replacement, coming on.
Michael Smith to be a 50-50 with Big Porteous. He won it. That's when Bushiri did well with the chest, but then he popped up and right back. That's when McGeady went past him. He's done an 80-yard run to get home. So I've got my sympathies for Michael Smith there to say maybe his lungs are not functioning properly.
Well, we played the hour, nearly on 61, with Hearts leading by 1-0. And that change made. Stephen Kingsley scored that explosive goal at Hampden against Hibs in last season's semi-final. Just a brilliant goal. And the short free kick was played to him. Played back to him as Cadden collects on the right. He's away from one, he's heading towards the box, he shoots, Clark makes the save, down low to his right, and it pings out to Smith, who puts it out for a Hibs throw in. Hibs are throwing the kitchen sink at Hearts here, so far to no avail.
They're giving it everything they've got. Every single player's at it. They're winning the second balls, they're going forward, getting balls in the box, working the goalkeeper now.
Here is Chevraya down the line looking for Stevenson, gives it straight to Smith, and it is clear, and it's a long ball up towards halfway as Porteous nods it forward, and out on this near side Michael Smith wins it back as both sets of supporters applaud in tribute. Hibs fan Ian Matthews, who passed away recently. It's a nice touch from the Hearts fans joining in as well.
Brilliant. A really nice touch considering the ferocity of this match here. Liam, it doesn't, sometimes it goes, I missed that. Now that's quality.
Never to see.
Well, Robbie's changed up a bit. He's taken Cochrane off, who was having a tough match, and he's put Kingsley on, but I'm not sure Kingsley's any quicker than Cochrane. He might be a better 1v1 defender in terms of his experience, but it's a big risk that,
Kingsley gets it clear, only as far as Cadden. 1-0 Hearts, 62.5 played. Campbell has it taken off him by Devlin, but it breaks to Yuan on that right-hand side of the box. He's the danger man, he and McGeady right now. Yuan, he's inside the area, finds Campbell, takes a touch on the right foot, doesn't quite get space as the challenge comes from the aforementioned Stephen Kingsley.
Oh, what a challenge. That's an old-fashioned 50-50, that one.
He's just slammed into him, hasn't he?
And he's offside here.
Yeah, Ginnelly up the other end, flag goes up. 1-0 Hearts, but they are very much in a game here, the visitors.
It is, Liam, and I said about the substitution, I was surprised with that. Maybe not totally, because Cochrane's been having a tough time, but Barry Mackay hasn't done a thing for me, and I think unless Robbie sorts it, because the danger that's coming down Hibs right just now is incredible. They're getting overlaps, Yuhan's up, his tail's up, Cadden's got good delivery, and he isn't working back, Barry Mackay, so if he doesn't change it soon, he could pay the price for that.
McGeady nicks it forward to Campbell, tries to work it back to McGeady, sliding in is Devlin. He does such a good job, Cammy Devlin, and it's been brought down by Chebraya. There might not have been much in the touch, but it was enough for Devlin to go down, and he's won the free kick for his team and just alleviates a little bit more pressure that has been coming on top of that Hearts defence. And
is it a problem now?
Yeah, I think there's going to be... I saw Ginnelly down when Brian was down there talking about Michael Smith. I saw Ginnelly being helped to his feet by the referee. So it may well be, Brian McLaughlin, that Josh Ginnelly, the man who right now is the match winner, is going to have to come off. Hearts ready to make another change.
Yeah, Stephen Humphreys is ready to come on, as is George Grant. So it looks like there's going to be a couple of changes for Hearts. Yes, Ginnelly, I would expect Ginnelly to come off. I wouldn't be too surprised as well if we've also seen the last of Michael Smith. He is really struggling here.
He's taking a throw in, and he's just about to. Midway inside Hibs territory, main stand side, 64 played. Bowls it down towards the corner flag, but he's put it straight out of play, and he looks around to try and find answers to that, and it will be a Hibs throw in, and those changes will be made by Robbie Nielsen's Lee McCulloch, who's in charge of the technical area down there this afternoon. Ginnelly will be replaced by Humphreys, who scored that late goal in the 3-0 win at Tynecastle across Edinburgh at the start of the month. And George Grant will also come on for Hearts, making their second and third substitutions here. And it's Barry Mackay who's going to be replaced by Grant, so Smith's going to have to continue for now. But Ginnelly, Hibs have had the best of the game, but Josh Ginnelly is the man right now who has had the Midas touch in this game.
Yeah, well, although he's going off, and with that goes his threat over the top, Liam. Humphreys has already shown to the Hibs backline that he's quick, he possesses a lot more power, left-sided, difficult problem to deal with, a very different problem to deal with now, because both players, Shankland and Humphreys, now possess that strength and physicality to go against.
And at some point, John Collins, Hibs are going to have to gamble in this game, because the seconds are ticking away. They've been the better team, but as it stands, they're going out of the cup at the first hurdle.
As I'm looking at Hibs' bench, I don't know if there's too many changes he can make that's going to make them stronger and better at the top of the pitch, and that's where the game's going to be won. So that's the dilemma for Lee Johnson.
Schofield, Miller, Hanlon, Jair Tavares and Henderson, McCurdy, Fish, McIntyre and Laidlaw. That's the Hibs bench. And Stevenson hooks the ball clear up towards halfway. Nisbet gets his head onto it. Can Ewan get there ahead of Kingsley? No, he can't. Well done by Kingsley. Breaks to Campbell, looks to try and almost bicycle it into the path of Nisbet, but it's won back by Hearts. Grant gets it forward. Humphreys gives chase, headed away by Porteous, who's going down, clutching his face here. Stephen Humphreys just on the pitch, of course. He's gone straight back up.
Somebody smashed into the Grant. Jay goes to death.
Yeah, it's Lewis Stevenson who's tried to take the free kick quickly from nowhere near, but it was actually awarded, and he's ended up booting it off the face of Cammy Devlin, who was on the deck there.
There's gamesmanship going on all over the place here.
By the way, Cammy Devlin will be getting retribution for that in the next few minutes, I would have thought. He'll at least be trying. Yeah, Hearts making 3 changes. They've still got Stewart, the sub-goalie, Kimmert-Zoglu, Atkinson, Forrest, Kual and Oda. The Aussie and the Japanese completing that Hearts bench. It's a strong squad they have. As Porteous takes the free kick long out to the right hand side, headed infield by Cadden, breaks the way of Campbell, rolls it back to Stevenson, side football out to Chebraya on this left flank. McGeady goes in the overlap. Chebraya tries to clip it into the box. He's done that. Campbell nods it back to Cadden. He can't really control it as he would have liked. He is on the ball. His cross is cut out by Grant. Cadden will get back onto it, and he knocks it back to Jego, who plays it on to the halfway there for Bushiri. We're into the final quarter of the Scottish Cup 4th round tie. This isn't any old Scottish Cup 4th round tie. It is an Edinburgh Derby Scottish Cup 4th round tie, and as it stands, it will be Hearts who will be going through to round 5 thanks to that goal scored by Ginnelly on 10 minutes. Hibs running out of time. With each passing second, their chances of going through become less and less as they try to at least force extra time today. Clark clears for Hearts. Flicked on by Humphreys, one in the air by Porteous. Comes back to Humphreys, who finds Smith. Heads it forward to Devlin, controls in the knee. Couldn't quite work it back into the path of Humphreys. Gets a second chance. Finds Grant at the edge of the box. Humphreys' attempted ball is blocked and out for a Hearts throw-in. On this near side, our Hearts about to flicker into life as they look for a second, surely tie-killing goal.
Yeah, there's a big throw coming in here. If I'm right in saying, I'm sure James Hill has got a big launch. Did they not score? The first goal against Aberdeen from a launch from Hill from the other side, so you expect this to be thundered into the 6-yard box.
You expect it to be defended a bit better than that one was. As Hearts try and find the second, and it comes off the head of Porteous. Devlin trying to win it back the edge of the box, away by McGeady. The whistle goes, Hibs free kick. It's Hibs 0, Hearts 1. It's just threatening to boil over a little bit down there, isn't it?
I was just about to say the same thing. It's kind of simmering.
It's on the edge.
Yeah, it's simmering away. I mean, the latter stage of this game, I think, will become an absolute powder keg. Don't rule out a red card, and I wouldn't rule out another goal somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's going to come right now.
The crowd inside Easter Road, incidentally, this afternoon, 18,622. Collected here by Nisbet. Midway inside Hearts territories, under serious pressure. Hill's there, Devlin's there, they're all snapping away at him, and it's picked up by Snodgrass as Hearts win it back. Only momentarily though. Stevenson finds Chabraya, who finds McGeady. First time ball for Stevenson. Stevenson looks up, cross field pass to Youan, right angle of the Hearts box up against Kingsley. Youan on the left foot, decides to disguise it, passes it to Cadden, his shot blocked, breaks to McGeady, blocked by George Grant and away. Porteous wins the header, nods it forward, Kingsley heads clear, then back up into the air from Jago. Snodgrass wins the header, then Humphreys with the header onto the chest of Shanklin in the centre circle. Shanklin looks to work it back to Humphreys, he's onto it, down this right hand side. Chabraya comes to meet him, Humphreys goes down, bounces straight back up, out on the touchline. Chabraya plays it out for a Hearts throw-in, level with the Hibs penalty spot on this main stand side, the Hearts right. But in the final 20 of the 90, Hibs 0, Hearts 1 remains the scoreline.
Few tired legs.
As it has done for 60 minutes of this game.
Few tired legs out there. Chabraya left back there looking really tired.
But that was just an indication, John, as well, the pace of Humphreys. Yes. What, 3 yards there to make up, he did it.
I mean, an absolute bulldozer.
He is, he's a big tank of a boy, but I mean, Hearts haven't looked like scoring, but wouldn't you just believe it if they got and score a second?
In comes the long throw, Marshall comes and punches. Hibs are about to make a change in a moment. We'll get to Brian again after this attack is over. Hill crosses in for Hearts, headed away by Josh Campbell, collected by Eli Youan. He couldn't quite get into stride. Devlin's won it back brilliantly.
I'm
for
not
Hearts.
quite sure how he did that.
Here's Shanklin, fires the ball into the box, headed away by Bushiri. Shanklin picks up the scraps again, wide in the left, skips infield. Little dink ball to Humphreys, to Shanklin, he's in! Goal!
Oh, magnificent!
Lawrence Shanklin might have just sent Hearts through to round 5. He's the first Hearts goal scorer to hit 20 goals in a season in more than 30 years, since the man who bossed this derby time after time in the shape of John Robertson. Shanklin with a wonderful goal, works the 1-2 and explodes the shot past Marshall. That might just settle this one. The Hibs supporters are now, some of them heading for the exits, because the scoreline with 18 to play is Hibernian 0, Heart of Midlothian 2, and it is Shanklin again, the new thorn in the side of the Hibees.
Listen, I played with Robbo, who was a proper 9, but this boy is every inch a proper 9 also. I mean, he's got no right to score it, Liam. He's got no right to manufacture it. But he's so strong, he's so clever. He bounces it into Humphreys. He goes in between two Hibs defenders. Humphreys lays it in his path. He takes another touch and he unleashes an unstoppable volley. It's low, it's just off the deck, but he's got enough control on it to smash it into the far corner past David Marshall. It's a quite unbelievable goal. I was just saying, you would believe if they just went out of part and scored. Just literally, 30 seconds before, Hibs have had all the play, all the danger. But when you've got a guy like that on the side, who's got the ability to find the back of the net and the confidence, my goodness,
he's got
can win any game.
He's got that calmness in key moments. He doesn't snatch things. He gets his foot through it, but it's never lashed. It's a fabulous finish in the bottom corner. Keeper, no chance.
Hibs have made a change. Diego's come off, McCurdy's come on. That was going to happen at 1-0. Now it's 2-0. Now Hibs are in big trouble. Huge trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would have knocked the stuffing right out of this Hibs side, because they have been the better side again in the second half. And I knew Hearts wouldn't push the button to go and be gung-ho. But just when you've got a number 9 like that, and Hibs have one in Nisbet who's a really good footballer, but Shanklin has just manufactured that himself.
Humphreys beaten to it by Porteous, who wins it back, but he's waiting too long. He had it nicked off him, but
smell blood.
Chabraya's there. Yeah, Hearts sense they can get this done. You suspect it's already done. It's going to take an almighty comeback for Hibs, who've been the better team this afternoon, yet they trail 2-0.
Yeah, football can be a cruel game, but at the end of the day, you've got to take your chances. Hearts have taken theirs and Hibs haven't.
I mean that chance, I know what you're saying, John, but that's not even a chance.
Well, it's a created chance by a quality striker.
It's brilliant. I tell you, it's quite incredible, Liam. You're banging out the start there about John 30 years ago.
31 seasons ago it was. It was 91, 92. There hasn't been a Hearts player that's hit 20 goals since then. And they've had a couple of seasons in the second tiers as well, haven't they? There's been a couple have come close. I know Liam Boyce a couple of seasons ago, but Shankland has just stepped. We're talking half a season.
I know, and he's just come into the side, and it's half a season. He's got 20. And I know there's a lot of penalties there, right? And the game's changed a wee bit because there's maybe more opportunities with the old VAR shenanigans. But you still have to put the ball in the back of the net. You have to have a knack to have that. I tell you, Hearts better cut the phone off, because a goal scorer is scoring 20 goals is a coveted thing.
You got a lot of money for Shanklin, but that is not what Robbie Nielsen wants. As Hearts come forward down the left again, Bushiri covering up against Kingsley, and he plays it short to Cadden. What have Hibs got left here? You don't take your chances, you don't win cup ties, and Hearts have made Hibs pay a massive price here, because, as always, the two cup competitions are where the provincial clubs, if you want to describe them as that, will get success, because nobody's winning the league apart from Celtic and Rangers these days. Right. Hasn't been the case since 1985, and that is the bottom line. And Hibs went out in the League Cup groups this season, and they're about to go out in the first hurdle here in the Scottish. As they come forward, McCurdy's actually forced it through to Nisbet up the other end. Still life in if Nisbet can score here. Right hand side of the box, changes pace, cuts it across, and headed behind for the corner by Hill. Hearts still 2-0 up. Hibs flicker into life there.
Terrific play from Nisbet. He's got to the byline, he's going to lift it and try and dink it to the back post.
McCurdy did well, didn't he? Just pulling away from a couple of challenges. Played it actually perfectly timed pass, because I thought Nisbet was just about to go offside.
It's the Hearts fans singing in the background. 14 to play. Hibs trail by 2. In comes the corner. There's a couple gone down inside the box there. Well, we'll have a look and see if that's checked, as McCurdy collided with Hill, I think it was.
Yeah, Hill, Porteous, McCurdy, it was a coming together. I mean, it's holding your breath time, isn't it, every time something like that happens in the penalty box now.
Hearts are unbeaten in 8 derby matches. Martin Boyle scored both goals. The last time Hibs got the better of them, that was over at Tynecastle.
Well, there's 15 minutes left. I wondered when the Hibs fans might turn.
I thought he was holding his back, it suddenly went to his head.
Yeah, he was lying face out. The back can lead to the head, John. I mean, depends how big the hit was.
John, you were thinking possible penalty there, were you?
Well, I've seen the reaction from Ryan Porteous, who was going crazy. And in fairness, he was saying he'd been pulled, but VAR's here, so...
Well, Brian's had a look at it. It's got our very own VAR, Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, I've had a look at it, and John's spot on, because James Hill had a grip of Ryan Porteous' shirt on his chest and pulled him to the ground. Now, whether the VAR referee has a look at this, well,
that's why they're
there.
They
will have a look at it.
That's why
they look at everything.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
This is a penalty.
If this isn't a penalty kick, I have to say.
Greg Aitken,
I think the game needs it.
Greg Aiken's the VAR.
Hibs point of view.
Hibs needs.
I think you need it, John, but
I do. I'm kicking every ball here. Murder.
Well, there's a few empty spaces starting to appear in this Easter Road crowd. The home support.
There's a good few left when the goal went in.
Yeah,
the Shanklin goal.
Yeah, they're walking out, and this will give him a lifeline. I don't think it's enough to get him to rush back to the turnstiles.
There's no official confirmation that the VAR check is currently underway. The reason there's a stoppage is because Hill is still receiving medical treatment inside his own penalty area.
Well, the good news, this gets added on nowadays, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's 12 minutes of the 90 to play. Hearts leading by 2-0. Lawrence Shanklin adding to that Ginnelly strike in the first half. And they're just still checking that James Hill's going to be okay, the man on loan from Bournemouth. Enjoying them for over £1 million last January. Having previously been at Fleetwood Town, the defender, and he's being helped off just now. No suggestion that there's an official penalty review here.
No,
it doesn't look like it. And
no, Don Robertson is just ushering McGeady to give him the ball, just to...
No, it's going to be an uncontested drop ball from the ref. Here's McGeady then picking up left-hand side of the box. Into the area he goes, blocked there by Shanklin, who did well defensively that time. Humphreys holding off Chebraya. It's just like a brick wall there as he shielded it, and now Smith clears it for Hearts down this near side touchline. Campbell gets it to Stevenson, who forces it infield there to Porteous. Porteous almost caught by George Grant, and it was enough to spook him. He's given it straight back to Hearts. Here's Snodgrass, long ball. Looking for Shanklin. He would have been offside, we think, as Marshall comes to claim at the edge of his box. Little over 10 minutes left.
Well, I think here comes a risk from Hibs. They have to start going for it. They have to start flooding bodies forward now, which will leave huge gaps for Shanklin and Humphreys.
It doesn't sound as though Hill's going to be back with us. Nathaniel Atkinson is going to replace him for the final 10 minutes of the 90. And barring a capitulation, this Hearts team quite simply doesn't look like it has in them. Hibs are heading out of the Scottish Cup at the first hurdle. Home derby defeat is in the post, unless they can produce a massive comeback. They drew 2-2 with Dundee United last week. They only needed the one in the latter stages of that one, though, to get a point in the Premiership. As Cadden clips it long, McCurdy will take it down on that right-hand side. And he's won a throw-in off Kai Riles over there, and it's about level with the Hearts penalty spot. Hearts happy right now for Hibs to have the ball as they make the change, and Atkinson comes on. He made his debut in this competition a year ago at Auchinleck Talbot in round 4. And another Australian international in Scottish football comes onto the pitch. What a good squad Robbie Nielsen's assembled.
Yeah, it hasn't half. I mean, you said there's a few there still on the injury list as well. Yeah, you know, all quality players that you think would have a stake for a starting position.
Campbell's clip ball comes in, Porteous didn't gamble, and it sails away from him and behind for the goal kick, and a sign of frustration there from Ryan Porteous, the body language.
Yeah, he's having a go at Josh Campbell, saying you've got to deliver better. He's got to do better there.
Still Lawrence Shanklin, guys, I've watched a lot of him over the last 10 years. When he was at Aberdeen, he didn't get too many opportunities, but when he did, he didn't take them for Aberdeen, and he's quite slight. I think he admits himself he didn't treat his Aberdeen career the way he probably should have done. He went to St Mirren. It didn't really happen for him there either, on loan, and really Ayr United.
Yeah, I had him at Dunfermline as well, Liam. He's gone around a few clubs.
But look at him now. I mean, when you look at the stature down there and you see him with the armband on, the number 9, he's banging the goals in. He's a wonderful signing for Hearts. Here come Hibs up the other end with Stevenson, level with the 6-yard line. Back to McGeady, the left angle of the box. Hibs looking for a way back in. Campbell has it at the edge of the area. He tried to side foot it into the bottom right like David Turnbull did at Celtic Park yesterday. It's blocked though, as Stevenson picks up wide in the left. Here's Chebraya, and Hibs set up a frantic finish. Bushiri out to Yuan on that right hand side, one back by Atkinson. He prefers playing on the right. He's playing out on the left, having come off the bench there. He was caught, but advantage given by Robertson, the referee.
I tell you, the ball's come to Michael Smith and he's running like the wooden man. Brian said he was convinced he was going to come off. I'm not sure how he's still moving.
There's Smith getting it from Shanklin, under pressure from Chebraya, and that's a foul by Smith. Free kick to Hibs down in this near side. 2-0 Hearts as we head towards 83 minutes at Easter Road. Lee Johnson still down there with Jamie McAllister, two former Hearts players, of course. Lee Johnson, part of Kenny Shields' Kilmarnock team that won the League Cup in 2012. But right now, there will be more cup disappointment for the Hibs manager, and it sets up an awful big game here on Saturday when Jim Goodwin, who's also under pressure, takes his Aberdeen team here in the next league game. McGeady finds Nisbet at the edge of the D of the Hearts box, clips it in, looking for McGeady, but Smith's there just to cushion it back to Xander Clark.
If he was done 15 minutes ago, I'm not sure honestly how he's feeling now. Every time he touches the ball, he goes down and hods something different. It's funny. I'm laughing, but I tell you, he'll enjoy it. Let me tell you, he'll enjoy his ice bath if he sees this out.
Might not like it so much tomorrow morning when he gets up, though. As Humphreys nods the ball in, looking for Shankland, comes off Stevenson's head. Now McCurdy, he's lost it to Shankland. Campbell with the challenge, and Sibbick's there, and now it's George Grant. Heading towards 84 minutes, Hearts looking for the third that would seal it. Humphreys wide on the right, looking for Grant. It's not a great ball though. Chabraya slides in and out it goes for a throw into Hearts, level with the Hibs 6-yard line, down on this near side. 6 minutes to go. Hibs 0, Hearts 2, and Hearts exactly where they want to be, right up the pitch as we head into the closing stages of this Scottish Cup derby. And it will be Michael Smith to take the throw. Remember, Darvel Aberdeen tomorrow. That's on the telly, no radio coverage. It will be live though with us in BBC Scotland TV channel tomorrow. Darvel against Aberdeen as the Dons go to the 6th tier side from East Ayrshire. And a lot more pressure on that game for Aberdeen than perhaps they would like there to be. We'll see how that unfolds tomorrow. The draw for the 5th round is tonight, 6 o'clock. Keep an eye out for that. bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland for the news of the draw as Ewan comes forward for Hibs and lets fly. Shot is blocked by the head of Kingsley. Breaks out for a Hibs throw-in over on that far side. 85 played. And there's going to be another Hearts change. Alan Forrest is going to come on, and Brian McLaughlin can just talk us through that.
Yeah, Alan Forrest is coming on. Michael Smith is just pulled his socks down to his ankles, and he'll be delighted to see it's the number 2 that's coming up. He looked over the last bout of substitutions, and it was are you having a laugh when his number didn't come up? Well, his number's up now. He's coming off. 86 minutes played here, and Michael Smith is finished for the day, and Alan Forrest coming on.
Alan Forrest's brother has won this competition 5 times as he looks to add his own winner's medal come the final, which is at the start of June this year. Knock-on effect because of from the World Cup finals. As he picks up a defensive position just now. Forrest throwing for Hibs, bowled towards the box. Porteous looking to chest it into the path of Stevenson, only as far as Kingsley though, and he gets it away. Picked up by Chabraya at the edge of the centre circle. Now it's with McGeady. McGeady's got Chabraya to his left, knocks it forward towards Nisbet. Sibbick wins it back though, and here Devlin forward to Sibbick, couldn't quite force it through to Humphreys. He's got a second chance here. Sibbick's driving forward himself, he's in the box, couldn't resist the shot, saved by Marshall. Shankland slides in, Bushiri gets there first though, and it pings out to Cadden on that right hand side. 86 and a half played. Hibs 0, Hearts 2, and Hibs have a man down.
Well, it's Nisbet, it's run back home with Big Sibbick, who he's just released the anchor and just gone, the big fella. And fair play to Nisbet. I really hope the kid hasn't picked up an injury, because he's played a lot of football since coming back from that injury.
Yeah, it's not happened for him today though, has it?
No, but when the ball parries off of David Marshall, the first thing I did was say, where's Shankland? And he wasn't too far away. You're talking about Shankland there. It's a quite incredible buy that in the summer, coming back from Beershot, where it never quite worked out for him for whatever reasons. Various 3 managers in the season wasn't helpful for the kid, but you're buying goals, you're guaranteed buying goals, and I know the old firm generally have got a habit of coming and picking up the best of the rest in Scotland. I can't believe that they wouldn't be looking the way of Lauren Shankland, and Nisbet for that matter, but Shankland 20 goals, and we're only in January.
That's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Nisbet scored 7 and 6 since coming back. Hasn't happened for him today. He's trotting off on this near side. Incidentally, that substitution which saw James Hill come off early and replaced by Atkinson, that went down as a concussion substitute, which obviously gives Hearts the extra change. Forrest with a throw, and he's taken a while over it. The Hibs fans who are still here berating him for that, as Devlin picks up and he's knocked it straight into touch for a goal kick to Hibs. That's 88 played. Hibs 0, Hearts 2. Given what Rangers did at Pittodrie in the league match last month, you can't rule anything out these days, but you just cannot see Hibs coming back, not at this point. 2 to play, plus probably 4 or 5 minutes of injury time. Just can't see it. And it's an opportunity missed for them, because they've had their chances as Chevraya goes back to Marshall, who clears ahead of his old international colleague Shanklin. McGeady, who's lasted the course of this game, can't keep it in play, and that goes out for a throw-in to Hearts on this near side, heading towards the final minute of the 90. The Hearts fans in celebratory mood, will be unbeaten in 9, sitting third in the league. When you look at their squad and the fact that the riches of Europe are potentially back for third spot in the Premiership for next season, depending on who wins the Scottish Cup, because that's where the Europa League place goes to, but you're guaranteed Conference League football if you win the Scottish Cup. It could be more millions for Hearts to strengthen and keep a real stranglehold of best of the rest. But here comes McCurdy. Nisbet decides to flick it back towards a penalty spot for some reason, rather than hitting it first time with the right foot. Given the stage of the game, it as well just having a little go at it. McGeady keeps it in play and moves it into Chevraya, and Chevraya plays it to the right of the centre circle. Right, the injury time I'm hearing is 8 minutes. 8 minutes. There's been a couple of stoppages, and obviously they're checking things nowadays as Stevenson flights the ball in. Chevraya gets on the left foot, shoots, blocked. They're shouting for handball. Breaks to McGeady, back onto the right, cleared by Hearts. Now it's Chevraya who shoots over the bar, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 2, deep in the 90th minute.
And it's been one of those days for Hibs in and around Hearts' box. They've had shots, ricochets, blocks, but nothing's fell at the right time, at the right height for an easy finish. I mean, Hearts players, credit to their back four.
There's the 8 minutes confirmed.
There just seems to be a strength about Hearts, Liam. You know, see the ugly side of the game. For whatever reason, Hearts always seem to come out on top over Hibs on that respect. And I know Hibs have played probably better today. They've played probably better football. But just to grind stuff out, Hearts always seem to hold the upper hand.
But Neil, I remember growing up and watching Hearts, and you had Levine and McPherson at the back. The likes of Lehman Bannon went there, didn't he? Walter Kidd. Such a strong Hearts team. Jimmy Sanderson is here today covering the match for the club TV channel.
The Shanks is off here. Shanklin's off.
Oh yeah, yellow, second yellow, and Lawrence Shanklin's been ordered off. Oh, that sullies his afternoon. The challenge of Bashiri. He wags the finger. Shanklin sent off at the start of the injury time here. 2-0 to Hearts. 1 minute of the 8's come and gone, but they're down to 10. Manny got the second.
Shanklin's gone in there to block the clearance, but I think Bashiri just taken it inside. I'm not sure how much contact, but given the big man's recovery, I don't think it would have been a lot. I mean, that's a devastating blow for Lawrence Shanklin down Hearts that he gets a red card there. But I did say, don't rule out another goal or a red card, so we've got that. But it's a cheap and it's a soft red card.
Yeah, it's 2 yellows for him today.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that. I don't like big centre half rolling about 1 second and then the next second jumping up.
I mean, plenty bookings today. You always run the risk of that, I suppose, as Devlin's caught by Campbell. At least I thought he was. Referee's happy with it. Here's Stevenson, left-hand side, drills the ball in, cleared by Snodgrass, who's now got the armband. Stevenson back the way. He's going to get it back immediately from Chevraya. Hibs running low on time, though. There's just 6 minutes left of the injury time. Here's McCurdy dancing around at the edge of the penalty area. Spreads the play out wide right to Yuan. He's faded from proceedings recently. Up against Atkinson is Yuan on that right-hand side of the Hearts box, and Atkinson gets the challenge and behind for the corner. How Hibs wish that happened earlier on in proceedings. How they wish it happened before the 72-minute mark. That's when Shanklin scored to make it 2-0. You would think put the game beyond Hibs here, unless they score from this corner. And it comes, not the worst delivery, headed away by Kai Rowles. Picked up by McGeady. McGeady looking up at the Hearts goal, decides to Roll it with the left foot to McCurdy, left-hand side of the box. The man with the mohawk on the right hand, or the right foot on the left-hand side, clips it in. Comes off a Hart's head. Bushiri's battling for it in there, trying desperately to win it back up against Sibic. Gets to the byline, fires it back towards the edge of the area. Campbell slides and finds Yuan, right-hand side of the box. He drills for goal, and it bounces off the reverse post. And Hearts get it away. Hibs have hit Woodward twice in this game. They just cannot score. 3 minutes of the 8 have been played. 2-0 to Hearts, corner to Hibs.
So close, but at the end of the day, it's still not hitting the back of the head. It's one of those days for Hibs.
Corner from McGeady this time on this near side. Right-footed, very, very deep. Flicked away by Kingsley, who's impressed since coming on. He's had an injury-hit season again. McCurdy with the ball back in, and Clark holds on. And it remains Hibs 0, Hearts 2, and Hearts creep that little bit closer to the final whistle as Xander Clark drops down to the ground to soak away a few more seconds.
Did he get knocked to the ground there?
John Collins is disgusted by that. I'm laughing, a bit of gamesmanship.
Just a bit,
yeah,
just a bit.
Winding the clock down, big Clark. I was laughing.
Sniper got him there.
That's half of the injury time come and gone.
Same bullet as Bashiri got, John.
True. Rubber, must have been rubber.
Here's Lewis Stevenson across halfway. Left-footed low ball to Ellie Yuan on the right. Yuan looks up, ball along towards the 18-yard line. Nisbet controls, looking for space to shoot. Does, blocked by Rowles. And then the foul there on Grant, but Hearts have got an advantage here.
Oh, he's just going to run.
Yeah, Humphrey's driving forward. He's got Devlin with him. A poor pass, misunderstanding with Devlin. And then it's slipped to Bashiri on this near side by Chabraya. Oh, what's he doing? He's down there. He's clobbered into the challenger. Devlin down on the near side after it looked like he'd overcooked it.
Honestly, Devlin looked like he'd been shot out of a cannon there, Liam. He just hit him mid-drift. He had no intention of getting the ball there. He's absolutely cleaned Bashiri out.
Campbell moving it out to Yuan on the far side. Just 3 minutes left. Hearts 2-0 up. Here is McGeady. McGeady then out to Chabraya on this left-hand side. Takes a touch, looks up, low ball's poor. Straight to Sibic. That's not what Hibs needed. Sibic's away now. He's driving forward. Humphrey's trying to slip it through to him. He's found him. Sibic's driving forward. He's in. He clips it into the net. And what a goal from Toby Sibic, who sends the Hearts fans wild in the South Stand at Easter Road. A magnificent counter-attack, and that was Toby Sibic, who won it deep inside his own half, played the 1-2 with Humphreys, bounded into the Hibs box, clips it over David Marshall, and it's derby delight for Heart of Midlothian. Hibs 0, Hearts 3, round 5 beckons for Edinburgh's maroon and white.
Well, talk about rubbing salt into the wounds. That is a classic counter-attack goal. I've no idea why Tony Sibic takes it upon himself to launch himself from centre-back. He turns into Usain Bolt, and I'm thinking, there's no chance he's running Josh Campbell here. He stripped him. He took a heavy touch. You said, John, you thought the keeper, where is he? I thought David Marshall might get there. The big man just hit the afterburners, got there, and then just had the composure and the awareness, never mind ability, just to lift it over the onrushing David Marshall, and it just rolls into the net, and then he took the aplomb of the Hearts fans. I mean, that was a quite brilliant goal, and that is good night, Hibs.
Game over, terrific from Hearts' point of view, but the goal came from out down here in the left wing area. Cabraya's got a chance, simple, to put it in the box, hits the first man. I mean, there's 5 players at the back post waiting in it, and he hits the first man, the counter-attack. 3-0.
What a goal though, John.
Great finish.
I mean, yeah, the composure just to lift it over David Marshall. But to release, I mean, Robbie Nielsen, I think, would have been going crackers. Just stay home, you know. They're 2-0. They're 2-0 up. They're down to 10 men, and your big centre-back's going beyond the striker. But he got his rewards.
What's the putting substitutes on for now? On injury. Bushiri's off.
Rocky Bushiri's down, injured, I think, and there was a yellow card was flashed at Josh Gianelli, who's on the bench in the wake of all that.
They joined in the celebrations, the subs, didn't they? Whether that was for that, Liam.
Wow, what a finale to the game. And shades of the game at Tynecastle, where Hibs have had plenty of the second half as well as they did in the first. They were better in the first half today than they were at Tynecastle. But it's the same scoreline, and another late goal just to...
6 without reply in the derby. It's not great if you're a Hibs fan.
Paul Hanlon's going to come on for Bushiri. I think Ewan Henderson came on as well there in the midst of all that.
And I bet you Paul Hanlon could see this far enough as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of empty green seats now. That away end, well, these Hearts fans are loving life right now. Injury impacted the first half of the season, those European commitments as well, but watch them go now. They look comfortably the third best team in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, the whole structure, Liam, of the club is exceptional. The stadium is exceptional. The new facilities for hospitality, brilliant. The training centre up at the Orium is different class. To go and attract players, you have to have decent facilities, you have to have a decent structure of the club. And I think they're just motoring now. Europa League last year, they didn't disgrace themselves. They're looking odds-on favourites just to book that place. But this could be another special season. I think Robbie Neilson has severely turned it around. He was under pressure a little bit, but when he got injuries back, and he's still got a few out actually, but he's added quality. And this side are just believing in themselves. To come to Easter Road and demolish a team with a 3-0 scoreline, it hasn't been a demolishing performance, but a scoreline. My goodness.
What does this do for Lee Johnson now, John?
Well, he's going to be bitterly disappointed with the result. There's lots of aspects during the 90 minutes he will not be disappointed with. I mean, sometimes football can be a very cruel and unfair game, and the result doesn't reflect the 90 minutes. And that's what we're seeing today. It's not a 3-0 game. Hearts.
But is that enough to spare him more pressure being heaped on top of him?
Of course there's going to be pressure heaped on him. But overall, his team's worked hard from start to finish. They've worked their way up to the opposition's box on numerous occasions, got into good positions, but they haven't finished things off.
It's all over. Hearts go marching through with another derby destruction, as Chabraya has a push out at Stephen Humphreys down below us. On the pitch, his tempers fray. But what a result this is for Heart of Midlothian. 9 unbeaten, looking good for third in the league, and they've come to their neighbours and they've railroaded them out of the competition. Josh Ginnelly's early goal on 10 minutes. 3 brilliantly taken goals by Hearts this afternoon, you have to say. Ginnelly's 5th of the season, Shankland's 20th of the season, and whilst he was sent off for a second yellow later on, he took it beautifully on the volley with 18 to play. Hibs were the better team. As a football match, Hibernian played the better stuff. But Toby Sibic ensured that the scoreline is sparkling for the maroon half of Scotland's capital, as he raced through right in front of the hordes of Hearts fans to score his first goal for the club at Easter Road in the closing seconds of a knockout cup tie. And it is he who is leading the celebrations down below us, as all 4,000 Hearts fans bounce as one and celebrate not just any cup victory, their first Scottish Cup victory at Easter Road since 2009, and it takes them through to round 5, and they will be coursing with the belief that they could potentially go on to hoist the silverware at Hampden Park come the start of June, because they've got their tournament off to the best possible start with a scoreline that reads Hibernian 0, Heart of Midlothian 3.
The Scottish Cup.